Bounce Podcast, back at it again. As always, I'm your host here again with two guys who understand and love the joy that Bearcat sports brings to them each week, and we get to reminisce and touch on it on every beautiful Monday night. This is a special one, a special one. So I'm going to bring in my two guys, my two sidekicks, two partners in crime, Mr. Aaron Smith, Mr. Chad Brendel. Gents, how are we?
Doing all right. Doing all right.
I'm recovering. I'm recovering.
Yeah.
It was a long week. It was a good week. I went as disconnected from the outside world as I think I've gone in, I don't know, a decade. So it was good. It was good to get away and get out to the beach in LA and hang out for a while with the fam. And now I'm back and we're ready to go. Ready for a big July.
Yeah. And I'm sure we'll get more LA talks later on in the pod. But I mean, normally we open this up and ask you both how are we, and then I introduce the GOAT, the legend Brady Collins, and I ask Brady, how are we? But right now I've got to extend like 4 different how are we to guys closely connected with Brady, who sadly in my eyes get to see Brady more than I do, and that's all I'm going to say about Brady for now. So we got to bring him in. Danny Foligno, Austin Steffen, Dustin Tripp, Jeremiah Ortiz, the coaching staff for the strength and conditioning program for your University of Cincinnati Bearcats football team. Guys, gentlemen, all 4 of you, except for Jeremiah. How are we?
Great.
Doing great. Thanks for having us on.
Doing awesome. Thank you.
That's awesome, man. Awesome. Well, you guys have graced us with your presence, and Brady's saying that all of you guys did all of your homework on podcasting, and you're going to give fully winded answers and make this one of the best we've ever had. So pretty exciting, which that now says thank you to dancotransmission.com. Danco Transmission, head over there, get your oil change. If you're listening to this, you get 1, 2, 3, 4 oil changes at once. Mention BCJ, mention BBP, $10 off an oil change. Danco Transmission. Guys, we're just got to open it right up. I'm going to start down here with Mr. Danny Foligno, and we're going to go around the room, not Chad and not Aaron, but we're going to hear from you guys how you were introduced to the Cincinnati Bearcat family, how you're introduced to Brady Collins, and how you have become a part of the program, a top 10 program in the country. Danny, take it away, man.
Okay. I'm Danny Foligno. I'm from East Lansing, Michigan. I played football at Michigan State from 2009 to 2013. After I got done playing football, I got into strength. I interned for the Miami Dolphins for a summer training camp, and then I went back to graduate school for 2 years. At Michigan State, was a strength conditioning graduate assistant, and then after that, I interned at Northwestern University for a short period of time, summer about, and then I applied for an opening in late 2017, December 2017. Came down and interviewed for the opening, and I got the job, and I've been here since 2018. January 3rd, 2018 was my first day of work.
Okay. I'm excited to hear about Alex Spanos later on, if I'm saying that incorrectly. The videos that he produces are quite interesting. Austin, take it away, man.
My name's Austin Steffen. I'm from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. I went to college at Baldwin-Wallace University, played football there from 2012 to 2015. When I was a student athlete at Baldwin-Wallace, I interned at Mississippi State University the summer of my junior year. That's where I met Brady. He was my intern coordinator only for a week, maybe a week and a half, and then he was off to the Buckeyes. Finished out school, went intern for the Buckeyes, and was fortunate enough to go to UC with Coach Brady and Coach Fick in 2017. I started out working as a research assistant for sports med there. So I helped out with like all the injured guys and all the sports science technology. And then when 2 spots had opened up right after the 2017 season, I got one and Danny got one. And then so we both started full-time in 2018. That was my last season, my first stint there in 2018. And then in 2019, I worked at Mississippi State. 2020 and 2021 was at Pitt. And now fortunate enough to come back, be a part of something special again here in Cincinnati.
Dustin?
My name is Dustin Tripp. I'm from Grand Rapids, Michigan. After high school, I went to Alma College, a little D3 school in the middle of Michigan. Played football there from 2014 to 2017, graduated the spring of 2018. Undergrad, I interned at Michigan State University first summer. Upon graduation, I moved to the University of Maryland, interned for Rick Core and Coach Durkin. Loved the internship, ran out of money, ended up moving back home to Michigan State, became a graduate intern. And then in the winter of 2019, Coach Brady and his staff at the time came up and spoke at a clinic. I overlapped with Danny for about 2 weeks at Michigan State when I was an undergrad. Had the opportunity to meet them, kind of show them around the facility. About a week later, one of the assistants left, Parker Showers, went to Mississippi State. Coach Brady called me up, came down and interviewed. I was here for the 19 and 20 season. Following the 20 season, went to Purdue for a year. And then in 2022, Coach Brady gave me a call and asked me to come back. And wife and I packed up and decided to move back and come join the Bearcat family again. So it's been awesome.
The Myjai Sanders of Alma College, if I'm not mistaken. Right?
A little extra gas. I appreciate it.
Now, Jeremiah, go ahead and round it out for us, man.
Thanks for having us. My name is Jeremiah Ortiz. I'm from the Rochester, New York area, upstate New York, and I played football at West Liberty University. After I graduated from West Lib, I interned at the University of Florida in 2018. Right after my internship at Florida, I went back home, worked with some personal training, and then I seen a job open up at Cincinnati, and it was Coach Tripp's job, actually. So I applied for his job, and then Coach Brady hit me up. He said, "Hey, I know the guys at Florida." Coach Brady knew Coach Savage. He worked with him at Mississippi State, and he was like, "Oh, why don't you just come intern for us?" And then I took the chance. I came down and interned with Coach Brady and his staff, and I loved it. And then did a good job there, and they helped me get a job at Georgia Southern University. And then not too long after that, I got a call asking from Coach Brady at like 4 a.m, asking me, "Hey, are you ready to be a Bearcat again?" And then I was like, "Yes." I've been here since.
Chad, you want to take it off?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of you have left and come back. Actually, haven't all of you left at some point and come back? Been here or Danny, you didn't.
Danny stuck it out.
He didn't.
Danny stuck it out.
I've been here, baby.
Danny's got a wired Wednesday from like 2018 floating around.
Yeah.
What was it about this place, working with Brady, working with Coach Vic, that was so alluring to like keep that in your mind that, you know, if something ever popped back up in Cincinnati, that's where I'm interested in, you know, maybe heading back and making a career out of it.
Go ahead, Tripp.
I mean, Bearcats are rolling. It's a special place. The kids here are awesome. Got a special culture here in the weight room that can be attributed to Coach Brady and Coach Vic that I think is going to be tough to be matched anywhere. I had a great time at Purdue University. I was there for a year, but, you know, whatever's best for me and my family, and my wife and I enjoyed the area and wanted a chance to come back and keep this thing rolling.
And then
Awesome.
for me, like being a part of it from the beginning, so like that first year, kind of like setting the culture, starting with detention training, and then moving through that season. Obviously not a very successful season, but a lot of growing pains through that one. And then going to that 2018 season, helped start rebuilding and kind of really laying down the foundation for what the program would become. And then I had an opportunity to go to Mississippi State. I got hired by Anthony Paroli, and he's another Pittsburgh guy. He's currently the head strength coach for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And he had trained me in high school. We had a relationship, and he's a real smart guy, a real good coach, and I wanted to learn from him. There's some things that I felt like I needed to develop more, and he had it at that time. Unfortunately, he ended up taking that job at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, so he was never really my boss there, only for about a week or two before he left. And then coming back, so my fiance, Kelsey Sharkey, she's in charge of all the new media for the team, so that's a big part of it. So being able to do what I love to do and then be with her, so it's kind of the best of both worlds. So it was a no-brainer when that opportunity came up to come back, that I was for sure coming back to be a part of this special place.
She's kind of a big deal.
Yeah, sort of.
Well, Danny and Austin, you brought up attention training a little bit. And that's kind of a that's like a
Well, we got to get Jeremiah's thoughts. We can't cut
well,
him
yeah,
out.
well, Jeremiah, fill us in. Fill us in.
What was it about coming back?
The reason I came back, I mean, it's just a great opportunity. Coach Vic, he runs a great program. Coach Brady runs a great program. I love Coach Fickle. I love his leadership. He can take over a room when he gets in a room, and it's just a special place to be. And I felt like I can grow in career, and I feel like this team has a lot of room to grow, and the ceiling is very high. So that's the reason I came back.
I definitely have a personal question for you later on, Jeremiah, about running backs and whatnot. But that's later on in the pod. But the key word, kind of a buzzword when it comes to the beginning of Coach Vic and Brady's career here at UC, and of course Danny, you as well, and Austin, you were part of it. Just the attention training. That's a phrase that probably sends shivers down a lot of players' spines, and I'm sure Austin, you were working on the injured and psychological situations that were coming out of that. Guys, just kind of break us down with what attention training was in your guys' eyes and kind of what your roles were during that.
Well, I guess I was really the only person that was there.
Yeah, I wasn't there yet.
Oh, Danny, you were still at what, Northwestern or
Yeah.
Michigan's? Yep. Okay. Well, good for you. Well, Austin, the floor is yours.
Good for you.
I guess I got it. I mean, so it was kind of like that first week when we all got here, and we didn't really know what we had yet, and it kind of was like the idea was that they're going to take a leap of blind faith in like what we're going to do. Just trust us. It's going to work out. It's going to be hard, but it's going to be worth it. And I mean, we did a lot of really hard things, and really cold, really early in the morning. It was really seeing who really wanted to be there and be a part of what the program was going to become. So it wasn't going to be easy for anybody. I mean, we didn't know any of these kids. They didn't know us, but I think we all agreed before, we had really even gotten to know each other, like we want to turn this thing around, because they had just come off a 4-8 season. It was kind of like, this is the start of something new. This is the start of the new era as the Cincinnati Bearcat.
And then Danny, when did you came in? Was it at what point of that first season, or was it heading into the second one?
I came in January 2018, so literally start of the off season of the second season.
Okay. And the transition from what, Northwestern. A lot of you guys kind of had a Big Ten feel rolling into Cincinnati. Did you see kind of the similarities at that point? And Dustin, you can touch on this as well. Similarities between what Coach Vick was trying to build and Coach Brady was trying to build in the weight room when it comes to the quote unquote, we don't mention P5 anymore because we're a part of it now. Did you sense that was the direction that they were trying to really step up and take it to the next level?
Yeah, I mean, it was never, there was never a true talent disparity between the guys that we had and the Big Ten teams that I had been a part of or had worked for, right? And obviously you saw that when we went out the first game of that 2018 season, we beat UCLA in the Rose Bowl, right? Mm-hmm. So that wasn't, there was no real, difference talent-wise, but the main thing I would say was the driving of the culture from the top down, from Coach Fickle, to Coach Brady, to, all the athletes. That was the biggest piece that I noticed in that first season, and the kids buying into, this is what we're going to be. These are the standards that we've set that we want to be here at Cincinnati. And this is what we want to reach. We want to be an elite program, not only in our conference at our level, so to speak, but in the country. And, that's obviously spoken for itself, with all this recent success we've had from 2018 to now. So, it's the cultural piece that was the big deal.
Dustin, you want to add anything?
Yeah, go ahead.
I would say one of the biggest things that Coach Vick and Coach Brady have done an awesome job, and from the top down, is just a physical presence around the field. And, that's kind of that Big Ten feel of being a physically dominant football team at the line of scrimmage. Different conferences kind of like to open it up and, quote unquote, get cute. we're very physical, come right at you. You know what we're going to be. There's no question on what identity we have as a football program. And that's a tough physical team day in and day out. And I think part of that is, Coach Vic has always been a part of a physical program. He's a physical guy, state champ wrestler, D lineman. So, I mean, it all starts with him. And then Coach Brady does a great job of being very in line with Coach Vic. And our guys know that. So there is no question about what the standard expectation are as not only in the weight room, but as a football team from the top down.
Watching the draft this year, how much were you guys glued to the TV, and how much of that like pride swells within you knowing like I was a part of Sauce being number 4 and AP getting in the second round and Brian Cook and Dez, and like with each pick, was there like an instant feeling of like, I mean, that's really cool for these guys. It's cool to take somebody and build them up to that level and then watch them go, accomplish their dreams.
Yeah, it's for me at least, because I've been here pretty much all those guys' years here.
Yeah.
So it was, and you kind of realize that we have our role, but we play a very small part in the grand scheme of things, right? And you see these kids have all the success, and it's all credit to them. You know what I mean? But the coolest part is just the developmental piece over 3 to 5 years or whatever, however long they're here. And it's not about the football player that they were and the football player that they became. It's more about kind of like the human being that you got to know when they first got here and how they developed as a person to get to that point. And that was the coolest part for me personally, just to see the kids grow up and live their dream, on live television, 9 of them. So it was a pretty cool deal.
Anybody else?
The trio of guys, yeah, you three kind of, left and came back. I'm sure you saw some players in their quote unquote infancy stages, and then all of a sudden you came back and like, wow, these are some NFL ready players. Kind of what were some of the biggest growths, if you want to single out a player or two, or someone that you kind of saw made some crazy steps that you might have seen small when you were first with them, and then when you came back, you saw, wow, they did quite a lot when I was gone.
For me, I think Alec Pierce, in the sense of, a guy who was a big-time volleyball player, always super athletic, but one came into his own as a football player at a wideout and became not only just a jump ball guy, but a dominant receiver in all aspects. And then as well would be Brian Cook's story of coming in, transferring. We had Wiggs and Derek Forrest and, Hicksy had started all of 2019 and having some, really, really good guys on the back end and, big shoes to fill. And I wasn't here for 2020 to watch him get all those snaps. But I do know in 2020 when we played in that Peach Bowl, I mean, the dude was an animal. And, he went out there and, played his heart out and earned everything he got. I don't think there's a kid that, was a part of that team that could be definition of earned everything he's gotten. And, deserve nothing in life besides another opportunity to get better. But there's a kid that deserves everything he's gotten. He's earned it.
I think two of the guys that really stuck out from the draft that I got to know when they were really young were MyJ and Curtis. So MyJ's first day as a Bearcat, I think he came in late.
Yeah,
he
he
was
did.
like a week before camp. I remember meeting this kid on NIP, had to take him through the whole testing battery, and I was like, this guy's gonna just hop into camp, like. And Brady's like, just wait. And I mean, testing wise, like that first day, I mean, pretty average numbers. I mean, not like anything crazy.
He was also like 205 pounds, right?
Yeah,
maybe 195, 200, soaking wet. And I mean, as he put on pads and started getting coached, you could see little flashes of talent, burst, drive, like they would pop up. And every time he got more reps, more instances would pop up. And then obviously as the years go on, gets better and better and better and better and drafted. And then Curtis was a Tuberville recruit So Kurt was not part of that first class. He came in a year before.
Yeah.
So I had seen Kurt, growing from how things were there before to how it was when I left. And then I actually had gotten to meet Kurt or see Kurt again when I came back to visit. And he just grew up immensely, like maturity wise. And then being successful in one area obviously led to success for football for him. And he had an outstanding year. And now he's in Indianapolis Colts. Those are two guys. And then who else we got? Dez. I mean, first meeting Dez. I think I still have those freshman before pictures on my iCloud somewhere. I think Dez.
There wasn't much to him.
No, and he had like this cloth knee brace support thing on. I was like, I don't know. We didn't know anything about it. We took these pictures in the bubble. I was like, there's nothing wrong. He just had it on. I was like, oh, all right. And then you got Kobe. I think I'd met Kobe before, whether he came to a camp or not. And then Alec, I can remember Alec coming on his visit, and we had like a force play demo. And Alec, he was interested in that stuff. He's an engineer at the school. He hopped on the thing. I think he jumped like a 36-inch vert cold as a 17-year-old kid. So I was like, all right, we got something to work with.
Yeah.
So.
He might be okay. This one might work out.
Those are just a couple things that stuck out.
And then there's what? Darian and Jerome. We'll touch on all of them.
Well, I mean, from your guys' perspective, like Darian and Cook came in as transfers,
yep,
and were nothing like where they eventually ended up. Like, how fun is it on the transfer side? You got a shorter window of time, so you kind of got to get the ball moving quick, right? But both of those guys seem to absorb things pretty quickly. And Cook terrifies me. So.
Yeah, I mean, both those guys came in, and obviously they had plenty of snaps and had plenty of football under their belt from where they came from, Howard and UConn. But, when they came in and kind of the acceptance they had of the type of program we run, the tough and nasty stuff, like those two were, they were already on that level. They just had to learn kind of the ins and outs of the program, and they hit the ground running right when they got here. So it wasn't, it wasn't anything crazy with those two guys. And Jerome, obviously. Jerome had snaps in the SEC and, scored touchdowns in the SEC for Nick Saban. So he wasn't a slouch either. You know what I mean? So, the transfers that the coaches have brought in have made our job easy, So
when it comes down to it, like in the weight room and whatnot, because all of you guys have past experience playing football, at the collegiate level and whatnot. So, Dustin, do you kind of take a little bit more of like an approach to the defensive line, Danny and the linebackers, and Jeremiah? Or were you really hoping that Ford was wanted to push him an extra push this past season? Is that kind of something in the back of your mind thinking about when you used to play, or is it completely just no? You're all a part of the team and you kind of have your own touch on every single position group.
It's actually funny. When I got here in 2019, so everybody's kind of a liaison for a position group. So during camp, right, those are kind of your guys you spend extra time with. So when I first got here in 2019, Coach Brady put me with the wideouts, and I was like, oh man, I never dealt with wideouts at any level really, let alone this level, and kids from Florida, Virginia area, and I was like, holy cow, I mean, I got a lot to catch up on. And it was actually probably one of the best things that's ever happened to me because the amount of growth that happened in those 2 years and the amount of opportunities I got to interact with a bunch of different kids from different areas. I mean, I'm from a podunk town in the middle of Michigan with a bunch of farm fields and cornfields and a couple bars, like to dealing with kids from Florida and stuff. So it was awesome. But now I'm actually with the D-line, which has been awesome as well. Creating a new relationship with the D-line coach that we just got in, Coach Stewart. It was awesome. So, I've been able to do a little extra with the D-line, using my past experiences as a player and, being at Purdue and being here to kind of have a little extra for our guys in the weight room has been really sweet too.
How cool is it to have a guy like Stu that Cincinnati means so much to him? Like, you can just tell that, like, being back at this job means a lot to Walt.
I mean, I don't think it's huge, the fact that he's here, but one, like the kids sense it. And I think that's the biggest thing, right? Kids we say it all the time, and Coach Brady says it too. Like, the kids are the first one to spot fake, first one to spot like your intentions aren't real. And I mean, those guys' intentions are black and red. I mean, he's jacked to be here. And, another guy that's young and full of energy, and the kids can tell he's passionate, not just about them and not just about UC football, but about the program and everything that goes into it. So, I mean, it's been awesome for our guys.
I had a takeaway from the
Awesome
spring.
human.
Oh, one of the best.
I had a takeaway from the spring game where I said that I was expecting I wasn't expecting Walt to be the loudest defensive coach. I was expecting Kerry to be the loudest coach on the sidelines, but Walt was the loudest that I saw. Is that what you guys experience, or am I coming out of left field with that?
I mean, he's coaching the guys during team now. Like, he's not just going to sit there and then when they come off, like, he's coaching up on the field. And I think our defensive staff here is really special that Coach Fick's put together, that all of them got a good voice and aren't scared to use it to make sure our guys are getting better. But, yeah, Coach Stewart's been freaking awesome coaching the guys at all aspects at all times. Doesn't hold anything back to make sure they're getting better. And they can sense that it's from a genuine place. So it's been really good for them.
Has he done much sharing of his story?
See, that's the thing. I haven't been in on meetings, but, I mean, the kids love him. So I would bet they know everything about him by now.
I mean, as a UC fan, it was heartbreaking. Because
Yeah.
that was a guy trending towards first or second round draft pick, like big time NFL money. He was about the right things. Like, he's everything you want in a kid that plays for your program. And then I don't know how much you know, but after a game, felt something in his neck at the end of his senior season, went to the doctor and told him that was it. Hang him up. Like, I couldn't imagine being a football player and having all that in front of you, and then just one day you go to one doctor's appointment and it ends like that. So to see how he has harnessed that and turned it into something positive is awesome. I love Walt.
Oh, yeah, he's awesome. He said, I mean, God's got greater plans for all of us. And I think there's not too many people in the world that could have probably handled that adversity better than Coach Walt has, and use that passion and fire to not just coach kids, but mentor kids for the better. So I think he's been an awesome fit. He'll be a great fit for us.
Speaking about Walt, a lot of former players are obviously in the coaching staff as well. But who out of the position coaches, and we'll throw in Fick, we can kick Fick out if we need to. Who's sticking around the longest in the weight room? Who's the one that can probably go through an entire workout and come out feeling peaches and cream afterwards? And they might be listening to this, they might not. So, answer.
Who's getting the work in?
who's getting the work in and looking good doing it?
I mean, if we're talking consistency, Coach Fick, Coach Combs, I'd probably say those two most consistent out of anybody.
My guy
in there and
my bad, I was sick. My guy Ricky Brown's in there for 2 hours in the morning when he's in there.
Oh, Ricky's in there
slaying
grinding.
himself.
Ricky's
Ricky,
in there. Letton's in there too, man.
Nasty Nate is in there, but that guy Ricky Brown's in there for 2 hours. He comes in, he's soaked. He gets after it.
I mean, the guy played in the NFL for 7 years. What else do you expect?
the guy gets after it for sure.
Stud.
What's Coach Combs like in the weight room? That's had to have
Always
added
moving.
a different energy to the program to have Kerry back.
Hydrates
Yeah.
with coffee.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of coffee.
I think water would make him sick.
Water would make a lot of ab wheel, a lot of tricep push downs, a lot of dumbbells.
I can see it. I can see him just grinding it out in there.
Nonstop.
Golly. Well, we guys have done a lot of things as a team where it's, kind of like I call it competitive fun, if you will, whether it be, softball or any sort of competition that the guys are put through. What's kind of been your favorite throughout the years that you guys have seen where it's kind of, normally this would be seen as like somewhat of a fun game, but the team just buys in and they're competing at the highest level against each other?
Got to be the inflatables, right? They look like they went after it when the inflatables showed up that day.
I mean,
go ahead, Jeff.
If it's anything you put in front of them, they're ready to compete. Like it can be the simplest thing. So, I mean, but what I can recall what was the most fun. We had a stadium train. We had like a stadium station, and it was like fun, but it was kind of a workout at the same time. And I mean, those kids are getting they're getting upset about how competitive they are. So they're ready to get after each other. So it's always nice to see them compete. And that's a big part of what we do. Like Coach Brady says, they'll compete. You tell them who's going to tie their shoe the fastest. That person's going to try to beat you at that.
The dunk contest in the pool, like the pool day, has to be a fun one too. No?
Yeah, the pool's
Okay.
the pool's always fun. The pool's always fun. There's always a little worry there that our guys are gonna,
right,
ruin the pool, the University of Rec Center. But no, it's fun. We actually have another pool day coming up on Wednesday, so it'll be good. Don't tell the guys though.
JQ apparently watches us often, so
he might have just told JQ.
Great.
Cat's out of the bag.
Yeah.
All right, and well, then how about one that I always like to watch is, kind of the highlights of these speed drills or speed Fast Fridays, or if you will, that Brady comes out and posts the times, and the entire fan base just gushes over this 6'5", 260-pound redshirt freshman tight end we've got running 22 miles per hour. And kind of fill us in a little bit on how these Fast Fridays came about, and kind of just the numbers behind, and who you guys are kind of wowed at watching hit these top speeds and hit these big numbers in the weight room, and all the different nuances that come out of that.
Get him Trip.
I mean, Fast Fridays. I sound like a broken record. You guys are probably sick of hearing it, but compete, man. Like the whole program's built on this idea of competitive edge at all times, no matter what it is. So, these kids got, the catapults on, and they know it's tracking everything. And there's no more like, oh, I'm faster than you. No, I'm faster than you. There isn't any debate.
Yeah.
There is no gray area. We can tell you who's faster. And,
Right.
You post that on that Friday, and, so-and-so may be third, and it's sweet. And, we're like, hey, nice job. But 1 and 2 are like, hey, you're slow, So all of that always continues to roll and go through the program, which I think is awesome. And, watching Trey Tucker, Drew Donnelly, Tyler Scott, you can
Those
have a
three
lot
set
of kids
the bar,
every.
right? That's track speed.
Yeah,
That's speed.
they're track
They
speeds.
can roll.
You speak about Trey Tucker, Drew Donnelly, Tyler Scott. Those are all guys, track guys. They ran 10.5 and under in high school, I believe.
Yeah.
And that's moving. I ran track in high school, and I've never seen anybody run under a 10.8 and up in upstate New York. And even a 10.8 is moving. And if you run a 10.8 in New York, you're going to the States. So, those guys are moving. I'm pretty sure we have a bunch of guys that can run under 11 seconds. So, it's pretty impressive just watching those guys run. And like you said, like Shimon Mater, he's just another freak athlete. You put a device on him and you realize how fast he's running. And those guys just love to compete once you put those devices on them. And like you get like texts later on that night, like, oh, coach, how fast I ran. Like they wonder why they're not on the list. They're like, dang, I know I ran 20 miles per hour or something like that. Like, no, not this time. It's slow this time.
So, true freshman or redshirt freshman, your pick. Give me a name that each of you guys, like when you get to work with them, you're like, man, this kid's got a chance. The way he works, the way he goes about, handling his business, the way they compete. Of the young guys, like, give me a name or two that you guys are high on as we get ready to. We're a month away from camp. Like, that's insane.
Yeah, it's coming around fast.
Oh man, it's fast.
There's a couple names. Got JQ, got Ken, got Kalen. Those are three just right off the bat that I think all of us have unanimously decided like those guys are great guys to have in any one of our groups. It's just 3 of them. I mean, they're all great. It's kind of hard to be nitpicky about that,
Sure.
like who's better than the others. But I mean, I've really enjoyed having those 3 at the same time, or even just one of them. Just kind of guys that you can build a group around because they're going to listen and do what you say, but and then try and do it even better. And then it gets obviously it's competitive. Like I don't want to be second best. I want to be the best. So that's just the type of kids that we get brought in, and it's really nice.
JL?
I mean, they've done a great job recruiting here at UC. Pat Lambert and all those guys and the coaches did a great job bringing these young guys in. And but I mean, there's just so many names to pick from. But my personal time, I got to work with. Like I don't want to choose favorites, but my personal time, I got the people I got to work with. Definitely redshirt freshman, Miles Montgomery. I mean, he loves to compete. He loves to strain when he works out. He wants to be the best at everything he does. And in spring ball, you've seen some special flashes of him.
I'm a big Miles Montgomery guy.
He can hit.
Big Miles Montgomery guy.
The kid can run the football. He's fearless when he runs the football. He hits the hole with speed, and he has speed on him, as you see the times that we release. And he's also a strong kid as well. So I think that he has a bright future ahead of him.
Trip?
I was actually saying Miles Montgomery's obviously, and being Jay will tell you, he's been having a great summer. I work a lot with Shimon. Shimon's been freaking awesome. I hope he comes out and has a great year. I mean, our tight end room's deep, but, if you said freak athlete, I mean, the kid's got it. And then a kid that's been awesome all summer for us, and, we can't reiterate enough, is Amarion Smith has been phenomenal all summer. And again, like safeties, we got a lot of good football players in that back end. But I mean, I think I can speak for all of us. When we got Amarion Smith in our group, all of us are smiling because he comes in with a great attitude and ready to train. And I mean, he's been locked in all summer. We've had 8 weeks to train, and he's been great.
I think my favorite play of the spring was it Miles Montgomery sprinting down the sideline, looking like he was going for a walk-in touchdown.
Yeah.
And Armorion came like a missile and got him at the 4 or 5 yard line, and it was an explosion.
Amarion's got some speed, and he's not afraid of contact, and that's a special position. It's a special player that can do that position.
Danny, any freshmen, redshirt freshmen that have jumped out to you this spring, summer?
He cutting out. I don't know.
We got you a little bit.
Yeah.
Did you hear me? The view is great. We can't really hear you, but the view is fantastic. That tree looks awesome.
Yeah, was that like an orange tree? I mean,
it looked like there was some fruit on that thing.
Yeah,
I don't know.
They're hitting golden hour, right? I mean, yeah, I get it.
Good looking tree.
Are you guys all on vacation too? I know this is
Oh,
vacation week. No,
no.
not for you guys.
No, sir.
Squat Fest week. Squat Fest.
Yeah. You gonna come through?
I'll be there. Aaron will be there. I know Dave will be there. Brent, are you gonna make it a full staff?
I might do the crazy thing of drive in on Thursday, spend the night in Cincy, wake up, and then head straight back to work after Squat Fest. So it's definitely in the cards. Been invited. I just need to make the move. But I'm standing on pins and needles, waiting to hear Danny's answer about who's a freshman or a redshirt freshman that's kind of been catching your eye a little bit in the weight room and through workouts.
Freshman or redshirt freshman? That's a tough one. Did somebody mention Miles Montgomery already?
Almost unanimous. Almost unanimous.
He's a from the moment he got on with us, he's a horse, man. I mean, he trains his tail off, and you come watch him run the ball at practice. He runs aggressive and angry, and he just keeps going. So, I mean, the way he trains and his mentality towards things, he would be the guy probably that most impresses me. Now, another guy that works really hard, Brady Lichtenberg. A guy that people, everybody in this, group chat could say they love to train. He's awesome, works his tail off, and a great kid.
So we've kind of touched on Squat Fest a little bit.
Yeah.
I kind of want favorite stories that you guys have had throughout the years with Squat Fest, or maybe kind of, like a guy that you saw like erupt and you were like, wow, did not see this coming out of this guy. And then, of course, also just something else you kind of look forward to seeing each time you have it this year.
And even before that, if anybody wants to kind of give a brief overview for anybody listening as to what Squat Fest even is, if they haven't heard of Squat Fest before.
Well, Danny, you've been here for all of them, so maybe you should tell them what the
Fill us in, Danny. Squat Fest.
Squat Fest is our max squat day for summer session. And it's a theme lift that basically is completely nuts. There's DJs there. There's a professional lighting company that comes in and lights the whole place up. The kids wear goofy stuff. We wear goofy stuff, and we max squat them. And, they love it. It's become ingrained in our program. Now, as far as crazy moments, I mean, I got going on 5 years of crazy moments of Squat Fest here, but I could give you a few. Now, the first Squat Fest was in the bubble, and we had a DJ come in, and the DJ was using a smoke machine. And by the end of the second group, the entire bubble was filled with smoke, and you couldn't see your hand right in front of you. It was absurd. And now probably my second crazy Squat Fest moment was last year when Ryan Royer was gonna go for his PR, and he made me smack him on the back of the neck and face, as hard as anybody's ever been smacked.
Okay.
It was crazy, but that's Squat Fest, man. It's an insane day. The kids love it. We love it. A lot of setup, but it's all worth it. It's all worth it.
Royer's got experience with the fans, so the smack was not really much to him.
Kid's an animal. Kid's an animal.
Austin, what about you? Any Squat Fest times that really stick out to you that you were part of?
So I was only here for the first one.
The very first one, okay.
Yeah, and I remember I can't really remember exactly how we came up with the idea that like it needed to be something more. But I do remember Brady saying like, take care of it, like get some cool stuff, like let's make it big. And I was like, how big do you want this to be? I don't know. Like, me, my mind. And I was like, all right. So reaching out to a DJ, a lighting company, they had fog machines. I was like, all right, I mean, if we're gonna do this, we're gonna do it as big as I can do it right now. And it's only gotten bigger and better because every year when I see the videos, I'm like, wow. Like if you look at the evolution of what it was and what it is now, it's crazy. But that first one, I mean, I'll never forget watching James Wiggins put 605 or 600 on his back and ride it for maybe 6 or 7 reps. No belt. I mean, I don't even know if the kid was bracing, taking it down to the basement, back up to the attic, over and over and over, yelling, it's too easy, fog in the air, and everyone's around just like, oh my God, like this is really happening right now. Just whoop, whoop, and the bar is like oscillating at the top of every single rep. I'd never seen anything like that. So that was pretty special.
As a freak.
That was the point. Be honest. We've talked to Luke, we've talked to Brady about this. They did not love Wiggins when they got here because he smiled too much.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't think he was serious. But that's just who Smiley is. He smiles all the time.
He does.
That was the moment that they were like, oh shit. Yeah. Okay.
You can smile all you want.
You can smile all you want, son. Like, let's go. Let's get after it.
Freak. J.O., any fun times that you had through Squat Fest?
There's so many stories. I mean, that's just every Thursday before that Friday of Squat Fest, you got those new fresh interns that are realizing how much we got to set up before the next day. Stand there till I don't know 10 midnight sometimes. And but direct story is when Jerome Ford came his first year. He was a really quiet kid. Really didn't talk to nobody that much until he warmed up. But before Squat Fest, we start off before the squats. We start off with rope fights.
Yeah.
So we started off with a rope fight, and Coach Brady called Jerome's name out. Jerome gets down there with a beef stick in his mouth, and he dominates whoever he's across. And then he gets up with the beef sticks in his mouth, just like nothing happened. Everybody's like, "What the heck is wrong with this kid?"
Danny, you got any outfits planned for this year?
I'm not sure what the top's gonna be, but I know I'm wearing jean shorts. So.
Well, yeah, the jean shorts were in last. Do you still fit in those jean shorts?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
But you might have outlifted those bad boys.
Yeah, it's a tradition. It's a tradition. Can't break it now.
No mullets this year, though, huh?
No mullets. No mullets.
Maybe a mustache. I can see Danny going all in with a mustache. With
Maybe.
Brady, huh?
Maybe. We'll see. We'll see. You guys will have to show up and see.
Oh, I'll be there. I've been there every year. I've been allowed. You know, the COVID stuff obviously kept us out for a couple of years, but I've been there as much as I've been allowed to be there. So I guess my next question would be: a lot of you guys have been here when this thing started, or tied through when this thing started. I think what hit me last year when looking around at like Rob Jackson and Little Dingle, who's not so little. And
an Adonis, some would say.
Some would say an Adonis. Armorion Smith and Isaiah Cox. Like, how noticeable has it been each year when these new guys walk in the door and you're like, we're playing with different toys. Like, mom and dad got some money now because we're playing with different toys. The toys we used to play with, you know, they might have bought from like the dollar store, not to take anything away from what kids looked like when they got here before. But now kids walk in the door, like there's a different level of athlete, a different level of talent, you're getting better clay to mold and shape now than you've ever gotten before, right?
%100%. 100%. You know, the talent that these coaches have brought in, as I said before, makes our job extremely easy. You know, not that we want it to be easy, but, you know, it presents a different type of challenge, you know, to kind of work with these more, you know, so-called elite athletes, you know, and it's been an awesome experience to see the program change in that sense. And all credit due to our recruiting department, Pat Lambert, and all that they've done, and our coaches.
And Max, you can't leave Max out. You got to give Max some love.
Yeah, you know Max, dude. You know Max out there grinding. So, but yeah, all credit to our coaches on the road and Pat and Max and the things that they do. So, making our job a little bit not necessarily easier, but just presenting a different challenge to us.
What did you guys think the first day Rob Jackson walked in?
I wasn't here for that, so I don't know.
Freaky looking 18-year-old.
Yeah, he's a freak. He's a freak. Got some long arms. Goes down to his knees standing up. Yeah. Same with JQ. JQ's the same way. Like,
yeah,
you get all these guys coming in. All right, they're kind of bit. They've kind of got some muscle mass on them already, or maybe they got a little speed on them. All right, so it's like before we're starting like from ground zero. All right, working up. I wouldn't say like that. We still had like some great players come, but just development. We're able to develop them a lot faster, opposed to later years. But not to discredit what we had before. I think because I still think we developed some great players, or there were some great players that came here and helped themselves as well.
Yeah, it's a testament. It's just a testament to what the previous guys did here at this program before. You know. It's a testament to the culture they created and all the wins all the work they put in, all the wins that they accumulated, you know, and it brings in more talent, you know. So
we've heard a lot about Kobe and Defoe, Austin, from when they got here. Those are two guys I think Brady would adopt as sons if he was allowed. How much did they truly, and your guys, like you were there, how much did they change the culture? Even kind of right away, because right away from talking to Brady, back when those guys got here, he was like, these are my guys. I'm riding with these guys. they're going to change this program. And it was pretty evident that they loved the work. They loved the process. They loved challenging themselves. And it felt like even as young guys, and Mike Warren, you could probably throw in that mix as well, like they impacted things right away, which is something that the program needed to establish in that younger group as they were going to be the guys that pushed to the top like later on.
I mean, those guys that you all named, like they play a lot of ball. They were all 3-4 year starters. I mean, guys, I can remember Kobe and Derek coming in with that first class, and those two definitely stuck out as guys that whether they physically were ready to play at their best ball at that time, they would do whatever it took to be on the field. Whether they were 180 pounds, whether they were 200 pounds, they would do whatever it took to be on that field. And when it finally came their time to start, because I think that first year,
they both played a lot of special teams.
A lot of special teams. The corner, I can't really remember. It's been so long. I think the corners were like Lyndon Stevens, and I can't remember who else it was.
Grant Coleman,
safety.
and then Cam came in as a transfer, right? Or was that year two?
Yeah, Cam came in the next year.
Next year, yeah.
Yeah, but they were guys that they had the mentality to be ready to play. And then when it finally came their time, because they started at 18, and it was, like, I'm ready now, and we're ready to change this now. Like the 4-8 stuff, like we're done with that. Like we're not talking about that. And they helped really lead that shift. And I think it was 11-2 that year, and then took off from then. So yeah, those two guys, Brady would definitely adopt those two guys.
So we kind of talked about how Wig was kind of a freak in the weight room, and it sounds like Jerome had a little freaky to him as well. Who would you guys name as your freaks in the weight room as far as just pushing weight pound for pound type ordeal, or even just the biggest dudes out there? And who's kind of like the craziest? Who's got a little bit of like a little bit of an edge to him that you're like, you know what? I just saw a little something out of him on that rep where would not want to mess with this man no matter what. Just craziest and then freakiest.
Tell us, Danny.
On the current
Danny.
team or of all time?
Anytime. Hey, all time. Either or.
I mean, we've had a lot come through here, man. I mean, Ryan Royer's a complete nut job. Joel DeBlanco was crazy. Ty Van Fossen's freaky. Complete nutcase. I'm trying to think who else, guys.
I think
Did you guys hear the? Yeah, they're nuts.
Dingles. The Dingles.
Both
Dingles.
Both Dingles
Brody.
love that smoke.
Brody
Ingle was crazy. Yeah.
I mean, Trey Tucker's a freak in the sense he can move weight and he's super athletic.
Yeah. Trey Tucker wants to smoke.
Dante Corleone and Damo Perry. Those are two guys that are also brutally strong.
Did you guys hear the DeBlanco story from the Holy Grail?
No.
So, he was a bar back at the Holy Grail, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, the boxes, like the industrial cardboard that cases come in to restaurants?
Yeah.
So the Holy Grail is one of our sponsors, and we're good friends with the guys that own the Holy Grail. And they went into the back one day, and Joel was breaking down boxes to go out to the dumpster. And he finds him with one of the industrial strength cases, cardboard cases, and he's rolling it like this. And Jimmy is like, what are you doing? Like that type of strength is not human. And Joel's like, I've been trying to figure out a way to get my hands and wrists stronger. And this is the best workout I've ever found for my hands and my wrists.
That sounds
he's
like
just
hilarious.
He's just taking these, like, that cardboard's like that thick.
Yeah.
And you've got a double-sided version of it, and he's just rolling it up like it's a poster.
Isn't it laminated too?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, like it's like that. That's how crazy Joel was. Like Joel was always looking for. I've got to get my hands stronger for tackling, so I'm just gonna mangle these 24-pack cardboard cases, which I'm sure none of that surprises any of you.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds like a Joe story.
Dedicated to the strength game. He loved
Yeah.
it.
He looks like a strength coach. Like at some point in time, he's going to be a strength coach, right?
He might be. I don't know. I don't know what Joel's plans are. He could be. He's got enough, enough nutcase in him to do it. So.
Or he'll follow in the path of his sister and be a model somewhere.
Yeah. Yeah.
She's a little better looking than him, though.
Yeah.
So what are your guys' game day duties? When on Saturdays and Fridays and whatnot, and also how rowdy do you try and get that little section of the sidelines for each kickoff and everything of that sort?
I haven't been here in a minute, so I don't really know
Right.
exactly what my game day responsibilities will be, whether help with the warming up of the guys or being in the locker room, stretching guys out. Not sure, but yeah, definitely has always been rowdy right there for like kickoff and kick return. Like that's something that I think is pretty special because it's one of those things as a strength coach, like at other places I've been at, where you kind of got to like corral the kids up. Well, when you're at Cincinnati, you're trying to hold these kids back because they're trying to get on the field. They're trying to have 30 guys on the field instead of 11. So it's pretty exciting to be a part of, but that's all I know for now.
Party at the 50 is always a good time. I think one of my favorite parts of game day gets overlooked is wake ups. I mean, we come in the morning.
Oh man, wake ups in a hotel are great.
I mean, you got the smelling salts ready to go, banging on that door with that master key, giving Mitch a heart attack, coming through. Let's go! I mean, the first thing you do, getting yelled at.
Getting yelled
at, but it's awesome. I mean, you would change it for anything. Get the guys going. No better way for them to start the day to see my beautiful face and some smelling salts to make sure they're ready for breakfast.
Nothing better.
Danny, do you remember when I bought that speaker and we started like getting the master key and kicking the doors down and literally grabbing the kids out of the bed and throwing them back in?
That lady at the Graduate, whatever it was before the Marriott, started F-bombing us in the middle of the hallway. We're like, lady, we're just trying to do our job. We're trying to win this game today. Wake these kids up. Please don't. Please stop F-bombing us in the middle of the hallway.
Oh, those are the ones that are yelling at you? Is just the staff?
Yeah, no. It's
normal
staff.
People.
Oh, no.
You get normal people yell at you.
The civilians in the hotel.
I got a kid in here trying to sleep.
For being too loud.
The kids wanted it. They started expecting it. Yeah. You got the kids literally like waiting to like jump us when we get in there.
Yeah.
They haven't realized like not to put kids in and around the team. Like maybe we shouldn't put families there.
Yeah,
I don't know.
But
give me your best higher ground story, each of you.
Oh man.
Yep, here we go. We're almost at the end for you guys, so we got to get the tough questions in now.
And also best higher ground meal.
And how close were you to thinking that Ferg was in big trouble? If any of you were there, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
That was talk about a damper on a final day. Like that final day is supposed to be throwing everybody in the cold tubs. And I still, Danny, I don't know if you saw this or not, but my favorite part of that, in retrospect, now that we know that Ferg was fine, as it's all happening, like Chris Ferguson had a heat episode. He was in bad shape. And as everything is happening, everybody's standing there like concerned, looking on, and Metz looks at me and goes, "It'll be fine." And I'm like, I don't know, Metz, like, this looks pretty bad. Like, they're loading him up into an ambulance right now. Like, this isn't good, Metz. It's going to be fun. I almost expected him to go Rocky. If he does, he does.
Jesus. That's tough. But it was a scary deal. But Michelle and Aaron and Bob and that staff,
they did a great job.
Reacted quicker than any AT staff I've ever seen and saved the day. It was unbelievable. So
who's your favorite getting thrown into the cold tub, or like what's the standout story from some of you guys? And what's your favorite food at Higher Ground? And why is it the Monterey Ranch
I'll
chicken
go.
sandwiches?
Ooh, I'll go. Favorite
Yeah.
food is either the chicken fried steak, or the bone-in chicken that they make. Is the fried chicken is unbelievable,
Yeah, that's
and
good.
the catfish.
I haven't had the
is good.
catfish. I've heard a lot of good things about the catfish.
Ooh, the fried catfish is good. My favorite story, I don't know if I have one specifically, but I'll tell you my favorite moments in camp are definitely that last couple days where we do the fire and all the seniors get to kind of express their 2 cents and their stories and their how they feel about their time in Cincinnati. That's definitely my favorite part of camp.
I think Alex Heil getting put on scholarship was really an awesome moment. One of the moments. I was thinking like COVID 2020, we were really having, are we playing, are we not? And Coach Brady got the fire department from like West Harris to come out and had a big slip and slide and talk about like changing momentum of camp or kind of like refocusing on why we were there, just kind of take some of the pressure off, the stresses off of COVID. I think those two things were huge and awesome moments when we were there. Best meals got to be, chicken fried steak's up there. Catfish is good. But, one of my favorite things about camp is like that Thursday night post-snack. Get a little skyline at that St. Leon Skyline Chili is one of the best skylines out there. Get a little Code Red Mountain Dew after 14 days of 90 degrees, sweating outside all day, getting some conies and some cheese fries, definitely recharge the batteries. So, I've got so many moments from higher ground, but it's also like the little moments of just being with the boys and being with the guys, playing euchre after snack, and just getting to know them more than just athletes and football players. We spend so much time with them, but them getting to see us besides just strength coaches and as individuals, and try to connect with them and try to build relationships that last a lifetime. Mick Oaks just sent me a picture of me on this podcast with a double chin. And that's like
he just texted me, dude. Mick Oaks just came over the wire, dude.
So someone like that means so much to me. Moments at higher ground have created those relationships, and I can't be more thankful for those moments.
JL?
I'm sorry. The question was the best moments at higher ground. I kept cutting.
What's your favorite stuff at higher ground, and then what's your favorite food at higher ground?
Favorite food. I'll start with that. It's all of it actually, but I'll go with the chicken fried steak, and then when they have the churros night, they can attest that I'll eat about 10 to 15 churros.
With the vanilla cinnamon ice cream, dude.
One time I went in a higher ground weighing 205. I left weighing like 220. And then,
oh, that's great.
The MyJ diet.
Yeah, MyJ, get another plate. I'm full, coach. Get another plate. All right. Final question before we let you guys go. Unless you guys got anything else? Aaron, Brent?
Yeah, I've got one.
Okay.
Your favorite Brady story that was
mine. So we have the same.
That will A, not get you in trouble with Brady, and B, not get Brady in too much trouble.
I don't know if we could talk about any of these on the air, to be honest with you.
Oh. How was La Torta Loca when he took you guys? That's my spot.
Unbelievable. We haven't been back. We need to go back. We were literally talking about the other day.
So they just today they just opened up a new spot in Florence that's like a full restaurant.
Oh, really?
So it's like a full restaurant with a bar and like the whole like actual like a bunch of seating available. So like they're legit now. They got out of the tiny little grocery store setting and they're moving into a big restaurant in Florence.
Yeah, after you have that place, you don't need to eat for the next 2 days.
Did everybody finish their torta?
I think so. I did. I know J.O. did.
I can only do half.
Oh yeah.
I can't do a whole one.
The place is great.
It's so good though.
Yeah,
so good.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
J.O.
All right, come on, Brady stories. Give them to us.
Brady stories.
Feed me. What can we get them? They're each All four right now going through their minds on what can I get away with here.
I'm just glad Brady didn't get a link to this podcast because I feel like he'd pop in right now to try and stop all of this.
Okay, hold on. I just got a text, and it says, "I want their best story. Bring it on. Ha ha ha."
Oh man, I mean, I don't know. I'm trying to think of one that's a little, I know you guys said we're not supposed to keep it PG, but
I mean, you can say whatever you want. It's a podcast. You can do whatever. Like the FCC ain't got shit on us.
Just don't get in trouble with compliance.
Yeah, I don't want to get a call from Trevor. That's all I'm asking for.
Let's go PG-13. Don't push it all the way to R. You don't have to do that.
I don't know, boys.
I don't know. Brady, they're going soft on you, brother.
Oh man.
Send him a link, Aaron. Send him a link.
I mean, I could just give you like a daily interaction that kills all of us every day.
Oh, yeah, the daily stuff is kind of funny.
So, like, I mean, I do a lot of our charting, and every day he comes in, and there's always some type of note for me for the day. And then he comes in, he spins the chart on my desk. He turns around, whips out, and they turn right back around and then waits for me because I got to read the note to everybody.
He's like peeking in the room, waiting to see our reaction to the notes.
And then I'll be like, "Trip, your number sucked." And then I'll run out. And then I'm in a panic, knowing I'm in a panic. And he comes back and he's like, "I'm just kidding." And then runs right back out. And I'm like, "Oh," and then like everybody laughs at me. I mean, that's the nicest one we can give for right now.
If you guys come on Friday, we'll tell you the rated R stuff.
He's got a link in his email right now. We'll see if he shows up. He showed up in Vegas with Fick, leaving Sauce's draft dinner, post dinner. You've never seen that?
They were
It's
walking
him
through.
and Fick looking like they're in part of like The Hangover, walking down the hallway at the Bellagio.
Right.
It was
Danny,
classic.
you offering some R-rated stories just changed my 60-40 coming to an 80-20 now.
All right, good.
I want R plus. Give me R plus. Is there a step above R?
NC-17?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The NC-17 stuff?
Yeah. Yeah. A little off the rails there, but yeah. For sure.
I told Brady I want a shirt this year. He gave me the thumbs up, so we'll see.
You want
The
a squat
shirts are
fest shirt?
always like a high, that's the energy of a squat fest. Uh-oh.
Oh, shit.
You motherfuckers. None of you guys have the balls to fucking tell a story.
All right, Brady, give us a story on each of them.
A story on each of them?
Yeah.
Oh, fuck.
It's hard to come up off your head.
Well, I mean, first you got nicknames, right? You got the Italian stallion right there, the meatball, Felino. You got Dr. Miyagi there in the middle, Austin. Okay, you got Trip Daddy right there, a.k.a. Luther Richardson's dad.
You look just like fucking Luther. Holy shit. You look just like Luther.
Now that you say that, I'll never be able to unsee it.
And then we got Big Poppy down there in the left corner, Big Poppy, a.k.a. Coach McThickens.
Greatest entrance into a podcast of all time.
Oh,
I don't know.
be. The
Vegas was still.
The Vegas one.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I was talking about that. The Vegas
Yeah.
one.
How about this crew, huh? Look at these boys. They did a good job now.
They did a great job.
You scared J.O. off, Brady.
Oh, he'll be back. His internet connection's probably going in and out. He's probably watching other things.
Well, thank you, first of all, Brady, for setting this up, because this was great to get a different perspective. Everybody's used to hearing the Brady stories. It's nice to get the spider web of all the stories from these guys as well, because they're just as big a part.
Oh, no, absolutely. I mean, again, just like Coach always preaches, a lot of, direction and credit and all that shit is always given to certain people. And I mean, let's face it, all the success that we've had. I mean, Danny's been here from the beginning. Austin was here in the beginning and then, took a little venture away. Trip was here. and then took a little year hiatus, came back. Jo was an intern, went, spread his wings, then came back. I mean, it's not a one-man show. It never is. And, I know these guys know it, but I love them all to death. They're fucking awesome. Our kids love them. To me, that's the number one thing. Like, being a strength coach, yeah, you got to be smart. You got to know what you're doing. There's, science-based research and all that. But it's about relationships. And, I don't give a shit what anybody in the country says. Like, these 4 guys right here, they're the best. And, like I tell our guys, I'll take our guys any given Saturday against anybody. I'd go to fucking war with those 4 guys right there any day. So it's cool to see them on there. I was enjoying it. My daughter came down. She goes, "Daddy, don't you normally do that?" And I said, "Yes, but tonight it's the boys."
Just one last question for Austin. What's it like to be with someone that is better at their job than anything you could possibly ever do?
It's tough sometimes, man. It's tough.
Do you watch those
freaking gut punch, dude?
No. So I have this same, like, I'm not dating Justin Williams, but I have the same problem when Justin Williams writes a story. I'm like, I could never fucking do that. I'm not that good of a writer. I could never do that. I could only imagine being Austin and watching like one of the pregame like hype videos that Kelsey puts out, and being like, she's better than me at anything I could possibly do.
Well, the secret behind it all is 90% of it is Austin. That's the secret.
I'll ask her that next time I see her.
No, don't do that. It's funny. The higher ground.
The problem is we all know she could kick all of our asses.
Yes, she could.
Yes,
100%.
Ask Lambert. Lambert had an exchange with her at higher ground last year, right? Where like
basketball.
I heard.
Yeah, basketball.
Bloody nose. The best was the higher ground stories, and they're great. Of course, the boys love the food. It's unbelievable. But nobody brought up skits. Come on, Danny. You're the ringleader of those, brother. How many strength coaches come in smoking a cigarette, pounding a beer?
That's true. I've done that. Sometimes I look back on it, and I'm not extremely proud of it, but no, I kind of leave those for the exclusively for people at higher ground.
That's true.
All right, hold on. Here we go. Brian says this now truly looks like the Brady Bunch. I put you in the middle.
There you go.
Oh man,
here's a story of a man named Brady.
Brady, we did get out that Jo pounded like 15 churros. I mean, is that?
Oh, that's
that
an
part
average.
Of his?
That's an average.
Okay.
He loves those churros.
Kind of all.
Who makes the best milkshake? Well. Who makes the best higher ground milkshake? Don't you guys hang out and make the milkshakes?
You know who makes the best higher ground milkshake? Yeah, all the interns we've ever had.
All right, boys, this has been absolutely outstanding. Brady, thank you for linchpinning this and getting it set up. Austin, Tripp, Danny, Jo popping back in. This was fantastic, and we will do this again for sure because I love it.
Thanks for having us. Appreciate it.
We'll also see you Friday.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Can't wait.
Yes, baby.
Brent, you better get in your car and get here. You've had too many excuses, too many years.
You know what? You just pushed me over the limit. 100% I'll be there. How about
You've been called out, sir. You've been called out.
100% I'll be there. Oh, well, see you later, everyone else. Jeez. God.
Well, I told them they could go.
Thanks for sticking it out with us.
Yeah, I was just waiting for it to be appropriate for when it's done.
Oh, we still got like an hour to go. We got a lot more podcasts to do, but this portion, Jo's back.
Yep, he's just.
Oh no, he's
in and out.
Thanks again, though, guys. That was great stuff. And Brady, thanks for popping in at the end. And you guys now are affectionately known as the Brady Bunch. Like,
oh shit.
No.
Well, no, because of the format and because of the boxes.
Brady and the boys.
Yeah. The Brady Bunch kind of
boys.
fits. Okay. I think it's kind of the Brady Bunch.
You got to see the show, The Boys, Chad. It's part of the mailbag. We'll dive in further on it. So it's good. But yeah, Friday, Squat Fest will be there. Austin, you're the only one I can officially say thank you for coming on the pod.
Tell Shark we said we love her.
I will.
Tell Shark I said hi. And then, aside from
Poor
that.
J.O.
Oh, he jumped back in.
Gosh, I'm loving the grit that you're showing here, J.O. You're not giving up, man.
Your determination is impressive.
This is good.
Oh, yeah, it keeps kicking me out. It's probably my old iPhone 8.
They can't hold you down, J.O. They cannot.
StreamYard is not good with phones in general. We've had that problem with Brady a couple times as well. So it happens.
Mainly when I'm driving.
Right.
Yes.
Accurate.
All right. We'll see you on Friday, J.O. We'll see you on Friday, Austin. Appreciate you guys.
We'll see you. Appreciate it. Thanks, guys.
Thanks,
Thank
guys.
you.
BC, love you, brother. Thanks for
Love you,
this. This
boys.
was great.
Oh, yeah.
Thanks for
no
popping in,
Loved
buddy.
it.
Yep.
We'll see you.
See you.
Good night. So that was mostly unexpected. Brady had hit me up while I was on vacation and was like, "Hey, I want to get the boys on a podcast with you guys since you've been so friendly to the strength and conditioning program."
Gee, let me think. Sure.
Absolutely. So I was like, I'm on vacation. Let me get back to you on Monday and we'll work on setting something up, which I thought meant setting something up for the future. Yeah, we'll get to that in just a second. And no, today he hit me up. He was like, "All right, are the boys on the podcast or what?" I'm like, "Yeah, let's go."
Do it.
I hadn't even really told you guys that was. I mentioned it to you, Aaron, right? That it was something.
You said that it's
down
something
the road.
we're gonna set up.
Yeah, we set it up today.
We sure did.
And it was fantastic. It was great. That's so good.
Yeah,
so good.
And most of the time when you've got a 4-man visitor crew like that, it's like, you're feeling it out, and then they finally all were able to join in together, and we got some good back and forth because all of them have stories. I mean,
the problem is the timing, right? Like,
yes.
Who's going to talk? Like, they didn't want to step on each other's toes.
Right.
So as we do this more going forward, like I wouldn't mind this being like a once every 2 months thing, because now they're going to be more comfortable and be a little bit more relaxed talking to us and talking us through things. Or we can do them one at a time, even,
Sprinkle Royer in, sprinkle Brady in. I mean, yeah, do it all.
All right, let's rock it out. This is the last one for a little while in terms of the BBP, because they're gonna take the summer off. There's plans for Urban Artifact to be back in time for football season. But if you're interested, in the meantime, this slot will be open. Timestamps sponsoring right now. Urban Artifact is the largest sour-only brewery in the United States. They pack over 700,000 pounds of real fruit into their lineup of fruit tarts every year. Swing by Urban Artifact's Northside Tap Room and Bearcat Journal to get $2 off a flight before Tasters. I guess that expires July 1st. What are you guys having? You're having the.
I have the key lime salsa. I think it's actually really good.
Is it it's like a party in your mouth?
There's definitely a lot of flavors happening.
Yeah, and then also you get a little Bloody Mary to it, little Bloody Mary feel to it.
Okay.
But
what are you having?
You know what I mean? Peaches and cream. We brought the peaches and cream back.
All right. All right.
He even used it. He even used peaches and cream in his questioning.
Yeah.
He did.
I did. Thank you for catching that.
I caught it.
Yeah. Yeah. And also 100th show, we'll have to just
bust out the astronaut food.
Do a little cheers to him. How about that?
All right.
Thank you,
Scotty, I'm going to need some astronaut food for the 100th show.
You need some. We got.
I need some. You guys have some. I didn't get that when I got my care package.
Peaches and cream is tasty.
Just have Mick send you his.
All right. Well, that was awesome. Like, that was the one step closer to getting Shark on the podcast, and I'm here for it. I'm more scared of Shark than I am Brian Cook.
That's honestly fair.
She's so good at what she does. Like, I've tweeted about it for years. Like, I don't know anybody that is as good at what they do than Shark is at what she does.
Well, that's what we should do. We should go Shark and Eichel simultaneously.
I'm down. It's up to. I mean, if they're down, I'm down. I'll hit them both next time I see them and see if they're willing.
Hit them up.
Hit them up.
She posts things that move me to tears. It's just fantastic.
Some of it does.
It does.
Like some of it when you get the flashback of like the emotion of what happened and how good she is at capturing it.
And then the overlay of like motivational speech or something that Luke said in the
or like
Dan Horde
dumb shit that assholes have said on TV.
Yeah.
To like discredit Cincinnati.
The
like
UCLA one.
Yeah.
It was like for the Navy game, I think, and they were like talking about how like they're slower than that. Yeah. No, I agree. That's
I can't wait until you see
really good at her job.
Can't wait until you see Austin on Friday though, and he's like, "Why'd you do me like that on the podcast?"
That's just reality. Like I didn't do him like anything. That guy knows his wife is better at what she does than just about anybody in the world. That's why there's been major people that have tried to hire Shark away from UC, and Fick values her so much that he's made sure that it hasn't happened.
Yeah.
Well done.
And gosh, those daggone TikTok like popular videos.
The reveal
prank
videos,
things are always
reveals. Yeah.
And also the uniform reveals. Those are up there with anything else that the country's pumping out.
Yeah,
what?
That's what I said.
Oh, I literally was just in my head. My bad. Well, I was saying something, so you ran over me. What's up with that?
You said it after him.
No, I was saying something, and instead
he was talking, so he wasn't listening to me.
So, yeah.
I love being home on vacation. Did you guys miss me last week or what?
I mean,
because Andre Morgan was outstanding.
I was too busy with power outages and internet outage.
Dre was awesome. Dre was. That's as good a dude as I know.
He gave us literally as much time as he possibly could before his 17 missed calls he had to get back to.
Yeah. So you know why he was on? Let me tell you the real story why he was on.
Because he loves us.
Yes, partially. Yes. So I think 2 days before I was leaving, I was talking to him about something outside of this. And Kelly was packing. It was actually, I think it was Saturday and we left Sunday morning. So Kelly's packing and we're talking and I'm talking to Dre about something. And Dre's like, Kelly, don't let him work. And she's like, well, he's got all these podcasts and these shows that he has to do. And Dre's like, I got you. Like, what? I got you. He's not allowed to work on this vacation. You guys are going to go have a real, actual vacation where Chad's not sitting in the room and Kelly and Kelsey are on vacation and Chad is just working from a different spot. So he and I was like, all right, then. BBP Monday night, 8:00. He's like, I'm in. I got you.
Well,
that's how that came about. That's how good of a dude Dre is. Like,
and
Kelly's like, thank you.
And it was a kick-ass interview
He was great. Yeah, he was outstanding. And then Dave and Mo Thursday night were excellent. Mm-hmm. We would have done a couple more nightcaps, but the people in Athens don't like Aaron for whatever reason.
Well, God started it.
I want to love something in my life as much as Mo loves cigars. I mean, that was his breakdown.
They went for like incredible. 45 minutes on cigars.
Your girlfriend's actually upset with that statement.
No, I think she would be appalled if I loved her as much as he loves cigars. She'd be freaked out, to be honest with you. I'd be telling her what she was doing and like when she was like 15. I was like, how do you know this, Brent? I don't know. I love you so much. It's
you know what? I rescind my comment. You're right.
It's insane.
So thanks to you guys for carrying the torch, and thanks to everybody for holding down the content game while I took that was a big trip. Like, so I met Kelly 3 weeks after I moved back from LA. More than Brent loves Brady's facial hair.
Jason, the amount of strength it took for me to hold in, letting Brady know that his mustache still looks great. It took a lot of me tonight.
He looks like
Brady.
He looks like Mac from Super Troopers, right?
Brady,
A
that
little
stash,
bit.
man.
A little bit. But for us to get a chance to really kind of like I said, I met Kelly 3 weeks after I moved home from LA, from when I lived in LA in my early 20s. And I've always talked about how awesome it is out there in the little beach towns right there in LA. And she's always been upset that she's never been. So we got a chance to knock that off. We went to Petco Park, which is fucking amazing. If you got a chance to go to Petco Park, you go to Petco Park.
Chat.
That place is outstanding.
Thanks to Brady and his entrance. We have to watch F-bombs or they're going to put us in timeout on YouTube.
Oh, yeah. Okay, I'm sorry.
Sorry.
Real thing.
Yeah, that's producer Aaron coming through.
Yeah, well, there's a limit on you can't drop F-bombs a certain number of times if
Or
you
you
want to
lose
stay
sponsorships.
monetized. Yeah, if you want to stay monetized. So we have to Brady came in AK-47.
Guns blazing.
Like he was playing Warzone.
Somebody Scarface highlights
he,
would really struggle on YouTube.
He was playing GTA 5 and just
bang bang bang. Yeah. No.
But yeah, it was a great vacation. It was a great trip. San Diego was awesome. Vegas was a great time. Outside of the fact that I should have come home about even on this trip. But I got greedy at the roulette wheel. I got up a bunch, and then I lost it all fast. And then I went to bed. It's like 4 o'clock in the morning.
Life comes at you fast, doesn't it? Oh,
I mean, it is like it's Vegas. And I was only like I didn't spend an exorbitant amount of gambling. I had just been really over like 2.5 hours. I was really patient at the roulette wheel, and I had a system,
right?
And I was stacking up, and then you get to that point where it starts to slow down a little bit, and then you try to okay, well, I'll just double up here and be all right.
Yeah, right.
Okay, I'll just double up here, and then I didn't, and then next thing you know, it was all gone, and I was like, well, that was unfortunate because I had cashed out, Brent. I had 3 times taken $100 and turned it into like $800 to $1,000.
Yeah.
Walked over, got my ticket, walked over, got the stack of hundreds in my pocket, put 100 back in, built it back up, walked over, cashed out, and then you start to lose. You just got this big wad of hundreds in your pocket that you're like, all right, we'll try one more. All right, we'll try one more. And then
stick to your units, Chad.
Yeah, I know. I fucked up. Bad. But I had fun. I had a great time.
Yeah.
2 more.
What?
That was 2 more F-bombs. You're killing me, Smalls.
He was just on vacation.
Sorry, Dad.
But no, I hear you. I mean, I've only been to Vegas once, which is probably my one of the bigger downfalls of my life. But that's going to change as well. But I always love going to the roulette table kind of instantly and 100 on black right away. See what happens, and then if it hits, then it'll be a good vacation. If it doesn't, then we'll see how we can finagle our way through.
You guys talk for a second. I'll be right back.
Okay, I will. Aaron, you are here, alive and well. I guess we'll touch on basketball for a tiny bit and then come back to recruiting in both sports before we jump into that mailbag. So I guess a quick timestamp of Chad vacation recollection, reminiscence, and then urban artifact, fruit tart for beer. There we go.
Cheers.
Cheers to you, brother. That key lime salsa. Ooh. Party in the mouth, baby.
I expected it to be more spicy than it is, especially with like the peppers and stuff in it.
Right. It's kind of like the peppercorn, it kind of gets just more like a peppery taste than a spicy taste.
I'm not getting any of that. Maybe I just eat too much hot stuff. I don't know.
Maybe. But basketball wise, what?
Are you like Chad? Do you think the McDonald's Sprite is spicy?
No, I think
you dumbass.
I think that's ready to make me burp when I need to burp. That's the thing on sure. I like that, and I like their Diet Coke. I definitely did hear that they do a little something special to it, like Coke gives them some special syrup or something like that.
Yeah, it's not that it's spicy. That's an internet phrase.
It's tingly.
Right. For like, it's different than if you get a bottle of Sprite. That shit doesn't taste anything like a McDonald's Sprite.
Right. Right.
That McDonald's Sprite, you take a drink and it's like,
yeah, I agree.
That's all.
I agree. Chad, let's touch on basketball for a tiny bit, and then we're going to touch on both recruiting and basketball and football after that, and then get into the mailbag. We're already getting pretty deep into this sucker, but we'll.
Well, let me just say something to Brian here real quick on the whole the gambling hotline.
Okay.
I am aware that gambling is not for me.
Yeah.
We have talked about this a million times, like gambling on sports, like going to the casino. It's not for me. I know.
Yep.
When it starts rolling, I'm bad at it because I'm good at like the system to build up the bank.
Mm-hmm.
But as soon as the bank gets built up, then I have, the common everyday dumbass interaction of wanting to take this and turn it into this instead of just taking this and taking my dumbass to bed at 3:00 in the morning. I stay up until 4:00 in the morning and go to the bed with no money in my pocket.
Sounds like me.
I know I'm terrible. I'm a terrible gambler.
Well, yeah, that's pretty much me every day with sports gambling. So
yeah, I know enough to be really dangerous to myself.
Yeah,
when it comes to gambling, like that's just the reality of the situation.
I'm either going to bed happy and saying like "good night, babe," or I'm going to bed like, and I get a "hey, why are you mad?" And then it's like, I don't know.
I went to bed mad that night, and I shouldn't have. Like I had a great when I woke up the next day, I'm like, you know what? I didn't spend that much money. I took out a couple $100.
Right.
I used it systematically to build up a bunch, and then I lost it. Whatever.
Yeah, I agree. But anyway, back on to topic. Yeah, Matthew. Yeah. Okay. I like it.
I didn't go to a sports book at all.
Yeah. Ooh.
That's also a bad place for me because you know what happens? I bet you see over 9.5 and they win 9 games. And then it's my fault that they didn't hit the over. I'm not
got the juju. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not putting that on me.
I agree. Quickly with basketball, Chad, obviously you've been off the grid a little bit, rightfully so. And doesn't seem like outside of birdies and whatnot, we did get a beautiful highlight tape from the Smith League, and yes, it is the Smith League. We talked about Kaluk Zikbay getting himself some highlights last weekend. This weekend, though, was a 1-2 punch where if there's a game or two where both of them are hitting their shots from deep, could be pretty doggone special. And that's with Landers Nolly and Jeremiah Davenport on the same team for the Smith League, and they were just raining threes, dapping up with Daniel Skillings on the sideline, and just seemed like they were hitting on all cylinders. Aaron, do you have that video?
I do.
I believe we can pull that up. If you haven't seen it yet, I think it's on the Smith League's page. And man, I'm a sucker for any bit of highlights that you can get in the offseason. Even like Jarrett Hensley's little highlight video from this past year. But I mean, you just watch Nolly and you watch Jeremiah just raining. And Chad and Aaron, you have to imagine there's going to be some games where if both of them are hitting, you get some working from DDJ, getting into the lane and whatnot. It could be pretty dangerous if both of them are able to get going at the same time in a game, or if one of them are off, you hope that the other one's on. It's just it adds just the single bit of Landers Nolly added to this group, just makes it even that much more dangerous.
Well, that's kind of the thing, right? Is there are just more weapons now that they simply didn't have last year. Like that was the problem with last year. Is it was if you could shut down DeJulius, you could rely on we're going to make this. We're going to make JD beat us, and they ran defense at those two guys. And nobody else could make them pay for it. I still think they're not where they probably need to be yet in terms of like having a guy you can really throw it to and get a bucket.
Right.
But I think you have now more people that can handle the ball, get to the rim, make something happen in the paint, draw the defense, dish for a dunk or whatever the case may be. Like, you've got so many more options that allow you to be a threat that just simply weren't there last year. Like, you were relying on guys that weren't capable of consistently producing 15, 18 points.
Well, we didn't have anybody outside of DDJ that could really create his own shot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's what I meant by everybody just loaded up onto Julius.
Yeah.
Ran their defense at him. And then, if Jeremiah got hot and hit 7 threes, there wasn't much you could do.
Right.
But that's not repeatable. Like, no matter how good of a shooter he is, he's a 40% shooter. So in order to make 7, he's got to shoot 12 or 13 or whatever the math, So just having Landers, having Rob Fennessy, having Kalu, having Josh Reed, having Dan Skillings, who was in the crowd, dapping his boys up, who I've talked to a couple people that have, I've talked to a few outside birdies that are not, personal birdies,
right?
That have said he's fit pretty seamlessly in to what they're doing.
The length is real.
Yeah, the length. That's what we talked about all season. They lack length. They lack athleticism. They lack scoring punch.
Right.
Did they totally fix all those problems? No. But did they go out and address each of those problems very specifically in the 6 players that they've added? Yes.
Absolutely.
It's a different team. It's a different team that you're going to see this year compared to what you saw last year.
And in that tiny little highlight tape where obviously it's the Smith League. So, we kind of mentioned it at last week how, Kalu Ezekbe was, crossing over and dunking on people, but the defense was what Patrick Beverly would call traffic cone-esque. So
yeah,
it is what it is, but still you can just sense the confidence that Landers Nolley has. And at times
he's a
last year,
first-team All-American Conference player.
Yeah. And last year, at times, there were some times in games where it just looked as if no one on the court really had any confidence in their offensive game.
Right.
And
Landers Nolley is never going to lack for confidence. I can guarantee
and all that
all
does
of you that.
Yeah, all that does is just open up the floor for everyone else. And it's a tiny little bit into birdies, if you will, if you hadn't seen that highlight video yet. It's exciting, man.
Unfortunately, I don't think there's going to be any birdies this week. I think things are a little like in flux with the staff is on the road.
Right.
They leave Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. I think they're at NBA Top 100 camp because coaching staffs are allowed to go watch Top 100 camp now. And then we get back rolling in July the 6th through the 10th. And then I've got to figure out what my schedule for the rest of July is. But I'll be on the road. So we're going to have a lot to talk about as we get through July.
Did the list for participants in the Top 100 camp come out yet? Or
that usually comes out like the day of. They are super that I've gone to that camp a couple times.
Yeah.
Like that's one of those things where they ask you for like your social security number and like the
blood of your
deed
firstborn.
to your firstborn. Like if you
Right
screw
there on
us,
that one, eh?
your kid belongs to us.
Right.
Like it's a wild deal.
Skillings was in it last year. I imagine this year will be littered with Cincinnati targets. So
yeah, obviously Collier's out for the
he's
summer.
out with injury, yeah. But I mean, Page probably.
I think AP will probably be there.
Xavier Brooks.
Yeah, Xavier Brooks will probably be there. I know that one's one that they're fighting a difficult battle on that one because he's gone from really good prospect to top 5 prospect.
Yeah, I mean
that makes life a little tougher.
His highlights definitely.
Hey, as long as he keeps picking up the phone, you're not out.
Exactly. That's what I've said. Like, that's what I've told people. The kid is answering the phone and responsive to UC staff. Yeah. So are they going to get him? Probably not. But as long as he's answering the phone, you keep calling.
We've all been there.
She's answering the phone. You keep calling, bro.
Just saying.
Even if you're sitting there wondering why on earth is she still answering,
right?
Keep on calling. There's no doubt about
Eventually,
that.
she'll stop answering the phone, but until then,
shoot or shoot.
Right, shoot or shoot.
Would you expect maybe Trey Green to be invited as well, or is that kind of?
He's right in that range.
Yeah.
So it's a possibility. Jizzle James, possibility.
Yeah. Best name ever.
And what about Rayvon?
I would expect Ray to be there.
Right.
For most places, he's a top 50 type kid.
Right.
Trey Autry, which is a new name from Western Reserve up in Ohio. That is, Wes Miller has 2 really, really, really good friends that are head coaches in the prep school ranks. Mm-hmm. One is at Western Reserve. One is at Linkier Prep.
Right.
So those are always going to be programs that you keep an eye on in Cincinnati recruiting if they have high major guys. Are they going to get all those guys? No, that's not how this works. But those are 2 places where this staff has significant ties.
I'm just picturing what this team would look like if they got all of those guys.
Right.
Man, yeah, it was because I mean, Linkier Prep, man. Take a look at what their staff, I mean, what their roster is. But geez,
Julian Phillips, Omaha Blue, Trey Green, and Western Reserve is starting to build something similar up in Northern Ohio.
Anything else on the basketball recruiting front? I know it looks like obviously Page was.
No, there's going to be plenty. We're getting into July, which is prime basketball recruiting season. I'm going to be on the road. I'm still trying to figure out the right path to win and where, because it feels like almost all of their kids are EYBL kids. So Peach Jam is obviously in the middle of the month, going through that second evaluation period. They're also at the beginning of the month in Kansas City. Do I go to EYBL in Kansas City, or do I go to Adidas in Rock Hill, South Carolina, and then maybe make a stop at Under Armour on my way back? Under Armour is dreadful right now. Like the amount of talent at Under Armour has fallen off drastically. So it might not hurt me to go see Adidas, but maybe it's better to go Nike and double up. Then you're just afraid you miss. Like, if I would have done that last summer, I would have missed Daniel Skillings and Josh Reed.
Right.
Because I watched those guys at the 2 Under Armour events in July.
Right.
So you want to spread it out. I'm probably going to do some form of that first weekend, Adidas and Under Armour, and then make my way to Peach Jam at the middle of the month to figure that out. So we'll see. It's in flux, but I'll be on the road both of those periods.
Travis Perry was another name that you have mentioned in recent weeks. He just
blowing up.
Picked up a UK offer, so imagine where that route will go.
He's on pace to be the leading scorer in Kentucky high school basketball history.
Right, and if UK lets him go and he blows up even more, then I'm sure a lot of people.
They had a similar. It's interesting because they had a similar dilemma last year with Reed Shepherd,
right?
About this point in time, and then a year later it turned into a Reed Shepherd commitment.
So here we are. And outside of that, obviously more and more on the basketball recruiting front as the summer continues.
We're entering the hot spot for that. Much like I said in June, we're entering the hot spot for football recruiting. Right. And what happened? football recruiting exploded in June, and we had stories everywhere, and there are still untold stories that we're going to get in July.
Yep.
Yeah. So.
Well, let's dive into a little bit, not full dives, but little glosses of football recruiting. Anthony Brown.
Urban Artifact timestamp.
Yep.
Urban Artifact wants to know, are you curious to explore what lies beyond standard craft beer? Take a trip to Urban Artifact. They don't make beer, they make fruit tarts. Come see what the world of real fruit has to offer. Swing by Urban Artifacts Northside Tap Room. Mention Bearcat Journal. Get $2 off a flight before tasters.
It got more peppery towards the bottom.
Maybe
the pepper settled. You got to like a.
I'm not shaking up a beer. No shot.
Like a shake weight. Yeah, that's what you're going for there. Shake weight. Yep.
Yeah.
Amen.
I was just saying like a little swirl.
There go all of our sponsorships.
You were on vacation last week. We understand, but anyway, football recruiting. You posted some notes on that on the board last night. So head there, check that out. Obviously, things that have been seen on Twitter as well as Jermaine Matthews has his decision coming up.
Friday is going to be fascinating. I expect it to be Ohio State, but Cincinnati is not out of the mix on this thing yet. Like they are, which at this point very is much
all you want, right?
Right. You're talking about a kid that's got Ohio State, Alabama, LSU, Deion Sanders. Like you have a very real chance of this kid committing to you on Friday.
Yep.
If it happens to be Ohio State, it's Ohio State. Like that.
Obviously, he's got a huge connection to UC. Cam Calhoun looks like it's his best friend as well. So it's just all of it is really tying into see what comes on Friday. I don't think there's any definitive answer as of yet on that. So
neither staff has been told
a
decision. I can tell you that.
Simply playing the game better than most.
He is.
He's having a blast with it, and he's really good. You know what? You know what it takes to play the game and have a blast with it? You got to be really fucking good. Sorry, Aaron.
I think that's
the new sorry, Dan. We apologize to producer Aaron.
Well, I kind of like that. Sorry, Aaron.
I'm just trying to get us paid, man.
Anthony Brown came out with his.
If you want me to stop cutting, donate at the donate button.
Right.
Stop cussing.
Anthony Brown popped his top 5 out. Clearly, UC's in that. It's been. You've mentioned UC Kentucky right there near the top. I imagine.
I think Anthony Brown is UC Kentucky. I think Malik Elzy is UC Illinois. I think right now UC is a leg up in both of those, but you got to finish the deal. You got to get to the finish line.
Yep. So obviously that to watch out for, and then Jalen Thompson would round it out of names to continue to keep a close eye on.
Such a weird.
It is.
Deal with Jalen Thompson.
Yeah, it's like the staff, Penn State staff is like, what's their approach? With
so here's my read on it, Brent. If for Michigan State and Penn State both, they're both swinging for bigger fish.
Right.
If you bring him on campus for an official visit and he goes to commit, you have to take him. He's that good.
Right.
But then that affects your bigger fish that you've spent time and resources and money on.
Right.
That's recruiting at this. That's recruiting when you're dealing with teams that recruit a bunch of 4-stars every year.
Yeah.
Like they have decisions to make. And sometimes those decisions impact where you stand.
I agree. Yep.
And Michigan State and Penn State's actions have both benefited Cincinnati in the case of Jalen Thompson. We'll just see when he's ready to is he ready to wrap it up? Or is he looking now like I'm gonna wait and take my fall official visits during football season? Like what's his mentality? Because the activity of late is very good for Cincinnati, but only if he's ready to make a decision.
Yeah. But it just kind of, and we were talking about this with couple of my friends as well. It's kind of like, Cass Tech is a school that I just feel like you can't afford to do that back burner type feel to it. You know what I mean? It's just like, especially a player of his
Caliber.
high ranking. It's just it's a
Aaron,
strange
that's for
thing.
you.
I don't agree with that. That's why I didn't throw it up here. I don't agree with
No,
that.
I threw it up here.
I know you did. That's why I didn't though, is because I don't agree with it. I produce those podcasts as well. I don't know that it's higher than his average.
Yeah. Maybe the After Dark one kind of, but
The After Dark, but After Dark is labeled After Dark for a reason.
exactly, for a reason. That's kind of it right there. Timothy Hefferman, thank you. MSU hired the former Cass Tech head coach.
Yeah, and then lied to Jalen Thompson about the official visit weekend.
So, yeah.
That doesn't seem like something you would do.
And seems like something that some players at UC could reach out to him and be like, yo, don't mess around with that. Come join something special here. So
Right.
Keep an eye out on those. Obviously, as recruiting will continue to ever evolve, but some decisions are coming up soon. And it's still a lot of high-level players, high-level excitement. And
as I said, I think Brown and LZ are trending towards middle of the month. I don't have a date on Jalen Thompson. We don't know yet. Jermaine Matthews is July 1st, Friday.
Yeah.
Maybe we get Squad Fest.
Right.
And that rolls into Jermaine Matthews.
Cookies.
I mean, how wild would it be if we're at Squat Fest and Jermaine's
starts
roaming
spreading
campus or something?
Well, yeah, he can official visit or unofficial visit.
Unofficial visit, yeah.
Well, actually July 1st, I don't think he can. I think campus is shut down.
Dead? Yeah. Okay. Well, it is what it is. Aside from that, anything else? Okay.
So there's two guys that come to mind. I know Ohio State would never publicly acknowledge it,
Josh,
but they wanted Josh Wiley bad.
Mm-hmm.
Kerry Combs was calling Josh Wiley on the reg long after Josh Wiley had committed to UC. They just weren't going to make the spectacle of offering unless Josh was going to flip, and Josh wasn't going to flip. The other one being Derek Wolfe. Ohio State at the end of that wanted Derek Wolfe, but Derek was all in on Cincinnati. So.
Gosh, he was so good.
I still love how crazy he is. And
that's a crazy person.
Some of the stories told about him.
Yeah, that's
even at the NFL level. Stories.
Yeah, that's a dude that went through a lot. Like his life, his childhood was not easy. He went through a lot, and it was reflected in his personality over the years.
Pretty sure he told Aaron Rodgers at one point, like, "I'll kill you."
But yeah, and wasn't bullshitting.
Wasn't kidding. No.
Then Aaron Rodgers called him brother, and then it was just got really scary between the two of them. Anyway, moving on.
I'm just messing around. I'm seeing what the other options look like.
What are the other options?
Nothing like in the middle of a regular or in the middle of an actual podcast.
You turned me into Derek Wolfe. That'd be pretty cool. Anyway, aside from that, anything else? Ooh, anything else?
I don't like this one at all.
Anything else on the football recruiting front outside of?
No, I mean, stay tuned. Like the irons are in the fire.
Yeah,
you gotta get some answers now.
Amen. Are you at all afraid that smoke of, I don't know, Michigan lost the highest rated quarterback recruit? His name slipped my mind right now, but
Dante Moore. Where did he commit?
He hasn't committed anywhere, but the crystal balls are heading his way.
For where?
Oregon, I believe.
Okay. Well, I know, like, he was supposed to go to Notre Dame, and then Notre Dame got Lloyd Carr's grandson over Michigan. Mm-hmm. And then I've been out of town, so I haven't seen who trended.
Wilt Fong put his it's a 6.
Yeah, but a Wilt Fong 6 is
right. Yeah,
still pretty heavy.
He'll also change an hour before when he finds out information otherwise. So
Wilt Fong 6 and Matt Prem of Oregon Insider a 6 as well. So
Aaron's having a breakdown. That's fair. I'm messing with him.
That's where that is. But No smoke there.
There hasn't been any feet to the fire of Aaron over the past week. Like,
yeah.
I wouldn't have known even if there was, without power,
Right?
without internet. Jesus, man.
It was about at this time last week when like I could understand every fifth word Aaron said.
When my
and I was
internet
like,
just
I
shit
was
the
like, do I
bed.
maybe tell him to try and log off and log back on?
That worked.
Or do we
Oof,
push through?
that was even worse.
All right,
Yeah.
let's hit the mailbag.
Let's hit the last Urban Artifact timestamp, and then let's do the BBP mailbag.
Did you know that Urban Artifacts building, the historic St. Patrick Church, is 150 years old? They operate their tap room in the basement, and upstairs they offer the reliquary, an event space.
Oh wow!
Swing by Urban Artifacts Northside Tap Room, mention Bearcat Journal, get $2 off a flight of 4 state tasters.
Did you practice that on vacation?
No, I just know how to say it, and I just always went with the bit.
I'm gonna miss that word.
Reliquary.
Me too.
Yeah.
Maybe we can work it
Reliquary.
to the pod.
The
Somewhere.
reliquary. We're gonna have to find something that we call the reliquary.
Reliquary.
No. They call their room the reliquary. We need to find something that we call the reliquary.
Reliquary.
All right.
Do it.
Let's open up that mailbag.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, in the recording of this, we've gotten 4 new ones, so who knows where this is even going to go.
Yeah, that will be fine. That's all right.
First question.
Oh.
From least to most, organized by how many points they will score versus the Bearcats. Organize the 2022 opponents by how many points they will score versus the Bearcats.
I mean, Arkansas is number 1, clearly.
More than UCF?
Yeah. Arkansas's got a dominant offensive line returning.
UCF is
A
traditionally
big-time quarterback. The question with UCF is we don't like. Well, Gus Malzahn does not run
right.
and shoot.
He doesn't run video game offenses.
Right. So I think their scoring is going to go down. Arkansas for me is a legit like offensive threat. Given they've got a great quarterback, they've got a great offensive line, they've got good running backs. Like, I think that's the best offense UC will face. I'm not ranking 1 through 12, Mark, at this point in time.
Maybe 2 could be SMU at SMU.
If SMU is tougher than they have been under Sonny Dykes, then yeah.
Right.
But they have been Charmin soft under Sonny Dykes against the Bearcats.
Am I the only one planning on trying to go to Arkansas, or are you guys trying to go to Arkansas?
I might have a wedding, I think. Did you like that, Aaron?
I'm not sure he's joking.
We'll see.
Wow, God.
I've got a family. Like my family every year does over Labor Day a family getaway to honor the passing of my aunt. Back when I was 4 years old, we've done it every year for 40 years. This is the 40th anniversary. I think I'm probably gonna be there and watch with them. I want to go to Arkansas, but I just don't know if it like fits.
Who scores the least amount of points out of? I would imagine it'd be Kennesaw State, but out of Kennesaw State, Miami,
my pick's Navy,
South Florida, Navy.
Yeah, I go Navy.
My pick's Navy because I feel like that defense will be just fired up to be like, all right, kind of like the same thing as back in the day.
ECU might be a super sleeper for most points scored.
They might be they'd probably be 3rd on my list.
But it's at Nippert, so that game at Nippert is when it's a flip flop. In Greenville, it's a little higher scoring. At Nippert, it's just the domination.
It's his 14th season at ECU.
Yeah, Holden Ahlers is player / head coach.
He's 42 years old and still playing football.
He was born in 1979.
He's played college football for ECU as long as Tom Brady's been in the league.
That's not wrong. So
Tulane might be there too. If by the end of the year, if Cincy's really got something to
It's
fight for.
probably a road game. It's probably a road game.
I'm tired of saying Tulane might be good this year.
It's fair.
I'm not
All right.
hitching my wagon to that. No way.
We talked enough about the 4 targets and recruiting. What kind of attendance are we expecting in Fayetteville? A Notre Dame level, an Indiana level?
It's a holiday weekend.
It is that.
It's
That
an
might work in the
SEC.
favor of it, though, right?
Yeah.
If there's, but I don't think you have this
Is
like
Fayetteville a destination though?
Touche.
right. Everybody in Cincinnati has a connection to Notre Dame.
I use a quick drive. I mean,
yeah, it was a terrible stadium and an awful experience because IU sucks. But I just don't know that like people are going to be getting in their cars for what's Fayetteville, 10 hours, 9 hours
not too
by
sure.
car.
Are you driving, Aaron?
If I go to the game, yes, I would be driving.
It's a here.
As long as gas remains at this $5 range and not creeping up into the 8 to
Might
10.
have to just take a check at the flights real quick.
Right now, sure, but we'll see.
Yeah.
I know a part of the question too was something about when do the tickets become available, and I believe somewhere else in the mailbag somebody answered that tickets would become available for the public in July. So
only 5 hours for Brian Johnson.
From my house, it is 11 hours and 1 minute to Fayetteville.
As the crow flies.
No, as the car drives.
And also, there's obviously, I mean, there's some connections somewhat in there with Arkansas and Cincy. So.
At least in September, there shouldn't be any chance of an ice storm, right?
Well, yeah. I think the big thing with Notre Dame was also like the ability to go to Chicago and then drop down to Notre Dame, like via train. They had a couple alumni packages that were involved with that. Like, I just don't know, like.
And it's Notre Dame Stadium. I mean, it's like
historic.
Right. And it was like, Brian Kelly, all the connects that there were.
Right. And it was, everybody knows UC's season hinges on, after they beat Indiana, if they beat Notre Dame, everything is laid out.
Right.
I don't know that there's going to be that type of hype to go to Fayetteville where they just take over an SEC stadium.
All right. Next question. Please forgive me if this is already done, but do you all do an instant reaction to the stars of the game? Stars could be offense, defense, special teams, an honorable mention.
It's called Brendel's Bites, and we've been doing it for like a decade, Merc. So, yeah.
Dang, Chad's putting you on that. Be better, Merc. Be better.
I mean, come on, man. I've been staying up till like 4 o'clock in the morning writing this shit when I get home from games at 1 a.m. and I just want to go to bed.
Drink a beer.
Come on.
UC will not be playing Louisville for the keg of nails for the foreseeable future, especially if the Big 12 goes with 9 conference games. Orlando A&M has become our new rival. They've had a great run the last decade. Just ask their fans. So we need a name for the game. I have a few ideas for the Bearcats versus the Golden Knights. The I Stayed at a Holiday Inn Express Late Night Shootout. The Continental Breakfast Bowl. The Thank You for Paving the Way Appreciation Game. Anyone else with some good names? This might be the best question of the year.
The Continental Breakfast Bowl.
It's fantastic. Fantastic. That was the F word you were looking for.
Outstanding. The Continental Breakfast Bowl. I disagree. I think West Virginia is the new rival. Like, that matters more.
Can't you have 2 rivals, right? Like, you can have 2 rivals.
Okay, but if there's one rival in the conference, it's going to be West Virginia.
Sure.
That's my
until Cincinnati keeps winning and UCF like elbows their way into a rivalry with us because the
domination of Disney.
Their fans are abhorrent.
The worst.
The you hate to see it bowl.
The Disney domination. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, Disney has to be involved there.
Questions that I didn't get to post into the thing here because they have come up throughout the podcast tonight. Your favorite football program in the new Big 12 that isn't Cincinnati? Same question for basketball. Acceptable for all three to be the same. Biggest surprise player for the 22 football team. We kind of covered that with the actual people coaching, at least freshmen anyway.
That's tough. It's hard. That's a hard question. It's hard.
My favorite football program is Baylor for taking care of business last season, and
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I think Oklahoma State and Baylor are going to be the biggest thorns in our side, as I've said many times. There will also be someone that just comes out of nowhere that is like a annoyance, like Tulsa has been for Cincinnati.
Temple.
If I had to guess who Tulsa is going to be for Cincinnati in the Big 12, it's going to be K-State, probably.
Yeah, I mean, because they're consistently solid.
Iowa State.
I don't buy they lose 5-6 games a year.
So did Tulsa.
Fair. That's a good point. That's a good
Let's
point.
see here.
I would go with Kansas State is going to be one that's going to be like a pain in the ass, I think.
OK State's always going to be.
Yeah, but OK State and Baylor are going to be like, it's going to be Cincinnati, Oklahoma State, Baylor.
Yeah, they're actual powerhouses, as opposed to K-State or.
I mean, K-State was a powerhouse back in the day.
What does that have to do with now?
No, they weren't.
Yeah, they were with Osborne.
Kansas State's actually good. I agree. They have a really good team right now. So that's why I'm saying if there's going to be a team that's like, it's not Baylor, it's not K-State, Texas Tech, they're heart of Texas. They're recruiting really well. Kansas State, I think, could actually be one of those teams that
I'm still
go into that game thinking Cincinnati should win, but it's going to be a bloodbath every time that they play.
I'm still sticking with Iowa State. You ever been to Iowa State, Chad? Winning there? Winning there.
You ever been to Ames? Ames, Iowa? It's hard.
Ames
You ever tried to catch a flight out of Ames, Iowa? That's hard.
There was a question for Brady. Obviously, we didn't get to it. It was a surprise for us. Otherwise, we would have let you know ahead of time that we had guests coming. And so next time we'll try and give you a little bit more heads up in the mailbag for that.
The Tuberville Bowl, Texas Tech.
Should I be refreshing every 5 minutes Friday for some great news?
I don't know yet. I don't know.
Legitimately,
I don't know.
We'll be on campus
in the morning. Yeah.
So in any case, that's the football side of the mailbag. So moving on to basketball. Reports from UCLA writers indicating Collier may be wrapping up a decision shortly. Are you hearing the same thing?
I'm not. And that's not to say he's not wrapping up a decision soon, but everything I heard has indicated he wanted to play it out into the fall when official visits reset. And I haven't heard that is not happening. So until I hear that's not happening, then I think the timeline is still fall leading into his basketball season. But we're about to start July. He's out. Maybe there's some heat to feel like you need to make a decision sooner. We'll see. I think what's great for the schools that are currently involved, unfortunately, he's out for the summer, but he's also not going to be out on the AAU scene continuing to murder everybody and pick up a bunch of new interest. So maybe that speeds things up. I don't get the sense that it's imminent, that we're looking at a July decision.
Doesn't he have an OV to Michigan, or did he already have that?
No, he said he's looking at taking one. If he doesn't take it by Friday, then he can't take it until August.
Next cycle, right?
So we'll see there. And I've been worried about Michigan, as you guys know,
As well, you should.
since I saw Juwan Howard show up at every game.
I still say
at the Indianapolis EYBL.
I still say the difference between here and even USC is you're not replacing somebody who was highly recruited just 2 seasons ago, as you have in Michigan.
Else is recruiting Page as well with him?
USC is recruiting both. UCLA has dabbled on both, but I don't think they're like full go on Page.
Mm-hmm.
I really think like if it comes down to just who's recruiting both, it's UC and USC.
Okay. I didn't know if Michigan was starting to get on Page.
I haven't seen a bunch of heat with Michigan and Page.
Right.
All right. I know there's been no little birdies and Chad's been out, but any indication on how Skillings has looked?
Good so far. Really good so far. Like, this kid's going to be that 6'5", 6'6" wing that can play the 2, the 3, can score, can rebound, can pass. The indication is he has fit right in since arriving on campus.
Right out of the gate, though? Like somebody
We'll find out. Like, I can't answer that yet.
Okay.
He's been here a week and a half. Like, is he going to be ready to be a like starter level player? I don't know yet. I don't know yet.
I wouldn't imagine he'd be quite ready even after the summer to be a starter level.
I don't know yet.
How did the meeting with the Northern Kentucky kid go?
There was no meeting. They went and watched him play. I don't think it was like a definitive, we're going to take this kid evaluation. I think it was we're going to continue watching. He's super athletic. Super athletic.
What's his name again? For myself and those who...
Jacob Meyer.
There it is.
I think is, yeah. There's a lot of things in his favor, but I think Cincinnati's going to want to continue to watch him through July to figure out, is he... This 2023 class is so important.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't know that you're at the point where you can, like, take a back of the roster stash at this point to let the kid develop.
Look at all the big swings they've been taking. Like, why would you necessarily relegate yourself to somebody who's not a big swing? Again, if you land any of these big swings, like, you don't want to be out of scholarship already.
Right.
So we have a lot of new talent coming in. With that said, which player from last year's team falls back the most on the depth chart this season?
I don't know yet. It's a great question.
Sure.
Math, 299.
That's the first time I've seen this person asking a question. So
I mean, I think the answer would have to be Micah, just for reasons that are like, I mean,
I don't think that's the answer.
Micah.
I mean, the only other option would be like, I mean, Jeremiah, Odie.
Because we talked about, they've got 7 options at the 4.
Right.
Like, so I think it has to be somebody whose minutes are directly impacted to what happens at the 4.
And that's what I was going to say. I mean, you only have 3 people that can legitimately play the 1.
Right.
Yeah, but I mean, Micah's going from starter minutes to, I mean,
who's to not say he'll still play starter minutes?
Well, I'm just saying. I would imagine that Finney was brought on to push as hard as possible and see.
Sure.
He can't.
I would imagine that if you can't play both sides of the ball, that puts you in a sticky situation.
Who can't play both sides of the ball? I
mean, Davenport's the guy that struggled defensively last year.
Thought we were talking about point guard stuff, but yeah, I mean,
just in like the answer to the question.
Right. No, I agree. And yeah, I mean, he'd probably be a candidate, obviously.
Now, does
only
he
because he's in that
what
weird spot.
happens if you can hide him a little bit better because you've got better options around him defensively?
Right.
Fennessy, Nolly,
You're also in a weird spot with a guy like JD because he isn't a 3, he isn't a 4. So what do you do with a guy that struggles to guard the 4 and plays the 4 when you have 6 other options in your depth right now?
It's a weird spot. Like the 4 is a really weird spot going into this year because I don't know that we've ever seen a position that has so many different guys that could be a factor at that spot.
And they all play the game differently as well.
Right.
I mean, you look at it, so JD averaged 26.9 minutes, Micah 27.4.
I don't think there's a shot in hell that JD plays over 20
Newman
minutes.
25.8. I mean, because then like Odie and Vic was 10.9, Odie's 11.6. I think the only 2 clear options would be like JD and Micah.
Newman.
Yeah, or one of the.
I mean, Nolly could impact Newman.
Nolly could impact Newman, yeah.
For sure.
Skillings potentially could impact Newman.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
it's a great question, Bath. I don't have an answer yet.
Right.
Like we've got some ideas that we've discussed. I don't have an answer as to this is the answer to your question.
I don't know that we'll have an answer before Maui.
And what if
Hensley
just continues blowing up too?
Right. I think after Maui, we'll have a much better grasp on things.
Man, if we come back from Maui with the feeling that we had coming back from Kansas City,
are you going to Maui?
No.
He's got a wedding.
No,
in Maui.
I mean, right now the plan is like making trips, man. Making trips. That's the plan.
Making memories. If you go to Maui, I'm gonna fight you.
Why? Would you not want to come?
Of course I'd want to come.
Are you gonna take him?
You can come, yeah. I got you.
Okay, we'll see. We'll talk about this off the air. I saw the June 2nd evaluation list. Have you seen any of those players in person? If so, what stood out for you?
This is a Chad question.
Yeah, I don't. Are you pulling up the June evaluation list?
No, I was answering. Somebody sent me a DM. I mean, I've saw most of those players in person. So it's just a matter of like if you followed along, you've got my evaluation on those players.
Okay.
I mean, the players listed: Isaiah Collier, Arlington Page, Jizzle James, Isaiah Evans, J.Q. Roberts, Xavier Booker, Riley Burgess, Jonathan Powell, Tyler McKinley, A.J. McBride. The one that maybe is on that list that I haven't seen yet that I think there's a lot of there might be a lot of smoke to is Davion Thomas, who's a JUCO at Kilgore in Texas. I think the staff likes him a lot.
He was offered 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, he's a combo guard, could play with a guy like Collier, and then could be the point guard if Collier's like a one and done if you land him. So I think that of the names from this weekend that I posted on the June 2nd evaluation list, that's a name that I would make sure to keep an eye on, Davion Thomas.
How does just kind of a general question, how does it work for JUCOs in the offseason when they're trying to get recruited? Are they in a circuit at all, or is it kind of just like
they have their own like showcases?
Okay.
So all the JUCO guys will go to one spot and play in a showcase.
So it's like an AAU for JUCOs?
Yeah. And Wes went out of his way to go to Texas to watch this kid play. So that tells me.
Yeah, I didn't know if the teams just still stay together and play games out of season or kind of how it was organized or whatnot, but it's cool.
Yeah.
All right. Would love to hear more about the July NIL event at Xavier with current and former players from both teams. Thank you.
Working on it. What you know so far is what you know. Like there's an NIL event. There's an alumni game with a bunch of the former players. The current players are not going to play in that game. It'll be an alumni game. The current players will host like a basketball camp and then like a fantasy experience. So if you're,
Similar to that one that they had last off season, right?
No, it's a totally different vibe.
Yeah, they're not.
It's run by the same company.
Contest, yeah.
Right. It's run by the same company, but they're doing it a different way now that they've had some time to like elaborate. They've zeroed in on the unique atmosphere in Cincinnati with both programs. So it is an NIL deal. If you can support it, support it.
Right.
Go to the golf outing. Go to the fantasy camp. Go to the alumni game.
And it makes sense with the TBT being at Xavier as well. So
and both schools are going to have a factor in the TBT. That's going to like the alumni game is going to be kind of like I would guess like a warm up for the TBT.
And man, so, I'll tell you what, the Bearcats TBT team, that looks,
looks pretty good. We'll see how it goes. I'm going to try to get some guests on here over the next couple of weeks that are tied to that event.
Okay.
To promote it a little more.
100%.
100%.
Let's see what you did there. A question that snuck in while we were podcasting. Any idea why Rayvon's ranking dropped so much?
It did not drop.
Other people just jumped up?
No. He was 47 in the composite. He went from 47 to 56. That is, if you think there's a huge difference between player 47 and player 56, you're calibrating all of this wrong. Right? Like, those are the same player.
I mean, yeah, if you go back and do research, I love going back and just looking at what stats are for certain groupings, and it's
if you're 7 spots apart in that range, you're the same player. Like,
I mean, it's pretty much 40 after number 30, then it's like 40 of the same caliber of players.
And he's 39 on 24/7.
Yeah.
So he did not drop.
All right, that is the basketball portion of the mailbag, and the last part of the mailbag, of course, is the Banks portion of the mailbag.
Baby.
Skin says, "Welcome back, Chad. Good to see you." Brent Skins scribbles furiously over a picture of Aaron. Glad to see you're still alive, Aaron. In honor of Chad's recent road trip, assuming we recast The Hangover, who is playing what role, and why is fake John Goble playing Black Doug?
Oh, Jesus.
I think I'd be the dentist who loses the tooth.
That's fair. Yeah, I think that's you.
Dr. Stu.
Yeah, Dr. Stu. Yeah. He's dealing with a lot of crazy like life, relationship, chaos. You're coming out on the other side of that with the baby dude.
Plus, I'd totally be the guy playing the piano, being, Dougie, Doug.
Right?
That's pretty good. Finally, we get to hear that singing voice. Jeez.
That wasn't even the singing voice. That was me doing a rendition of someone else.
Right.
I always feel weird picking like my spot in these things.
You're not Bradley Cooper. You're the Asian guy kidnapping the wrong Doug.
Yeah, that's probably right.
Mr.
Like,
Chow.
I didn't feel comfortable with the Bradley Cooper thing because I don't think that's me.
Mr. Chow, for sure.
Yeah. Oh, I got you.
Fair.
That's probably me more than Bradley Cooper.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. And for me, I think but just
I think Brent would be the one sleeping on the roof.
I think Alan is
probably throwing his mattress.
You're Alan to a T.
You're
pure, you're genuine, your heart is of gold. But man, you fuck shit up sometimes.
You know what? And it's funny because like back in the day, I was in the service industry. I was waiting tables, and sometimes I would walk up to tables, and they'd be like, "Yo, you remind us all a lot of that one guy from The Hangover. What's his name?" I was like, "Oh, Bradley Cooper. Thank you. I completely agree." They were like, "No, Alan." you're just like Alan, and I'm like, all right, yeah.
Hey, hey, Chad. BC is BC. Bradley Cooper is Brady Collins.
Oh yeah, he's part. I mean, he's absolutely a part of this podcast.
Unofficial fourth.
Yeah, we can. Yeah, we'll give that. I'm in for that.
I'm down with that. How about him popping in tonight, and just being like, "You motherfuckers, I told you to tell the stories," and they were like, "No, man, we ain't telling stories. We've been sworn to secret."
I don't even
You
think
can tell all of them had like one just waiting on their tongue.
I don't even think Ortiz was having internet issues. I think he was just like, if I keep doing this enough times, I don't have to tell any of these stories.
He was like, nope.
That was so good.
No.
So good.
So follow-up question. When is the BCJ OnlyFans site going live? My wife can't wait for grilling with Chad videos. And P.S. My dream is for Chad to watch The Boys so I can get that recast.
Have you heard of The Boys, Chad?
I've heard of it, but I haven't. I don't have.
It's
time
on
to watch that
Amazon.
shit.
Do you watch it?
I watched the first season. I haven't watched season 2. Or is there a season 3 now?
Yeah, it's on season 3. It's like 7 episodes, and it's awesome. Right up there with Stranger Things.
It's really funny. It's really well done.
I just don't have time, to sit down and watch
TV from those 1 a.m. to 4 a.m. hours that you're awake instead of
I'm not awake. I go to bed at 1.
Going at the trolls.
I don't go at the trolls between 1 and 4 a.m. Go check the stats. Go check the stats. It is very rare.
The Boys is
usually 12:30 to 1 is about shut it down time for me.
All right, moving on. I feel like most sporting venues have pretty terrible restrooms, but which stadium or arena have you been to that had the worst place to go potty in? Anything with a trough.
I have the correct answer to this.
Okay, go ahead.
It's Indianapolis Motor Speedway in the infield during the race, Indy 500. It is trough. It is mud. It is poop on the floor. It
Kentucky
is
Derby.
Pee everywhere.
Infield. Kentucky Derby infield is very similar.
I didn't have any issues with Kentucky Derby infield when I went.
And Dez supposedly was offered a scholarship in the porta potty at the Kentucky Derby infield. So.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, this one literally you slosh your way into the bathroom.
Gross.
Mud all over your shoes. And when you get in there, you don't know if you're stepping in mud still or what you're really stepping in. Troughs. It's tough, man. And then when you get out, you might slide, you might fall. It's
slide to the left.
It's
slide
tough.
to the right.
I went to slip and slide
2 times now.
Take it back now, y'all.
That's the mailbag. 2.5 hours later. That's the mailbag.
All right. That was an unexpected BBP. We did not, coming into today, expect the awesomeness that was the Brady Collins strength staff.
Yeah.
So thanks to those 4 dudes. They worked hard to be a part of this. Because they were in and out, kicked in and out. They were fighting.
We've never had that kind of issue. I don't know what was going on. I think it was phones. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was phones. But whatever. It was fantastic. They were great. Loved it.
They were really good. No, yeah. Big shout out. Big thank you. I mean, we'll list them off again one by one. Of course, Danny Foligno, been here for forever. Big thank you to Danny. Austin Steffen, big thank you to Austin. Jeremiah Ortiz, and then, of course, Dustin Tripp. So big thank you to all of them for coming on. It was a fantastic show. And, of course, Brady. Shout out to Brady. Friday, Squat Fest. Keep locked into BCJ. Chad, as always, welcome back, brother. Good to have you. And then
appreciate everybody being understanding that we needed a fucking vacation.
Yeah.
It was a terrible year.
Yeah, for sure.
We fought through it.
F-bomb count at 42 now.
Look, I don't care, Aaron. I don't care. I'm still going to pay you the same money anyway.
Fine.
We needed it. It was awesome. Thanks to everybody for being understanding. I tried to keep everybody as updated as much as possible when I was we drove to San Diego, we drove to Vegas. when I was in the car, I was like, all right, I can make some phone calls.
Yeah.
Honey, please forgive me. I haven't worked much, but we got a 3-hour drive ahead of us. Can I make a 20-minute phone call, please?
Yeah.
And she was okay with that. So
as always. Well,
we did what we could.
It was awesome, guys.
Dave and I are back Wednesday.
Wednesday.
Yeah, I'm not doing a podcast Thursday and then waking up at the ass crack of dawn to go to Squat Fest.
Yeah, no.
So Wednesday for the BBP this week.
For the BCJ.
And you're coming. Or the
BCJ.
BCJ, yeah. The
How are
BCJ.
we doing BBP next week? That'll be interesting.
4th of July?
Yeah. Bam, bam, bam. We'll figure it out. We'll chat.
Can, if we want, we can move it to Tuesday. Well, no, we can't. Aaron's got that thing he does.
We can go Sunday night.
We can go Sunday night if you want to, unless you got things going on Sunday night. I'm sure it's a Monday holiday. Brent's got things going on Friday night, Saturday night, Sunday night.
I'm in Florida, baby. I'm in Florida. It's gonna be it'll be a trip. So
do I have to find a replacement for you?
It'd be a Brent after dark type situation. Oh, no.
You're not ready for that. You're not ready for Brent after dark.
I don't think the world is ready for Brent after dark. I've been very tame on these here podcasts.
The standard Dave has set. There's no way Brent after dark is happening.
Man, some listeners to these pods have seen Brent after dark, and yeah. Ooh. Anyway, but hey,
right.
huge thank you to the staff. We'll see you all on Friday. Huge thank you to Aaron and Chad. You guys, great having you back. And Aaron, things flew smoothly the entire way this time.
Thank God.
Thank God. Well,
Good
hey,
work, buddy. Good work.
Sir. Another thank you for one last time to Urban Artifact. Cheers to you. Special thank you to Danco Transmission as well.
They'll be back.
Yeah, they'll be back. But for broadcast partners, good buddies, guys, I'll be seeing bright and early on Friday morning. Aaron Smith and Chad Brendel. I am Brent Young. Yet again, another fantastic BBP presented by BearcatJournal.com.
See ya!